welcome back to another exciting episode of The Catch Up. With, of course, me, Alex.
And me, Matthew.
And this week, we're actually joined by a very special guest. Matt, would you like to introduce?
Sure thing. Our special guest this week is my lovely wife, Brittany.
Hello.
Hi, Brittany. So glad you could join us this week. In fact, we've actually switched locations this week.
You might notice by the audio quality, this room has different acoustics.
A little bit different. And of course, we're situated a little bit differently. Yeah. We're actually over at Matt's house this week.
Yes, we are.
To do the podcast.
And to finally do a rematch. Brittany has been talking about it all day.
Yeah, I could tell she was very upset when I beat her at pool last time.
It's because I didn't feel like playing. It's like I told Matthew, I have to be in the mood. If I'm not in the mood, I just want to lose so I can be done.
I see. Yeah,
no, I would suggest you lean in a little bit just to... Your sound waves are a little smaller than ours.
I understand. I let you win the first couple times we played also.
At Patty's Pub. Is that right?
That's where the first time. Yeah, first time at Patty's. Was that the first time that we hung out outside of work? You brought her to Patty's? Is that what happened? And then she beat me at pool? I let her win at pool?
We were there, and then she decided... She got off work, Brittany got off work, and then decided to meet us there. Because I was like, hey, we're over at Patty's. Come on over. There was one time she got upset with me. We used to live in walking distance of Patty's. Remember? In Coeur d'Alene?
Yeah, I remember that.
Was it within walking distance?
You were literally not even 5 blocks. You were really close.
Real close.
At that apartment, right?
At that apartment. What happened that night? You were so upset with me because it was a night where we had scheduled something.
You and Brittany had scheduled something?
You and I. Alex and myself had scheduled something. And you were so mad because I went to hang out with him. Well, what was that for?
It was due to the fact because it was dark out, because it was like this time of year where it was, it was almost winter time. I actually think there might have been snow on the ground, but I just got off work and I just got home, and I see someone walking, thinking nothing of it, because the person was pretty far distance. Well, I look up, I see them, thinking nothing of it, because it wasn't even near the apartments. They were kind of near out in the dark area, but they were on a sidewalk. Well, I get out, whatever, and I kind of just kept looking, because it was just nighttime. I'm a woman. I want to make sure I'm keeping myself safe.
So you're walking? Or you're driving?
I just parked because I just got to the apartments where we lived.
Gotcha.
And so I actually, like I said, I saw the person but thought nothing of it because, people go home at all times of the day. I'm not going to be like, oh,
yeah. You just got off work, but you're a decent person probably, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, and so thought nothing of it, grabbed my stuff, got out, and I look over and I see the person, well, they're heading in, because this person's heading towards my way.
In your general direction.
Yeah, and I'm still not thinking anything of it. Well, I close the door and I start walking, whatever, and I look over and suddenly the person starts kind of walking my way, and the person's actually way closer than beforehand. Really close. You could tell the person was speed walking, and I was like, okay, this is really freaky. And so I started going even faster, and I looked again right before I hit the store, because we lived on the second floor, not the first floor. Mm-hmm. And I look, and he's really close. And all I thought was what the hell? I was afraid something could have happened. it was dark out, and no one was outside. So I went upstairs and get inside, and Matt's there, whatever, and I told him what happened, and it freaked me out. I'm a woman. I've never had that happen to me before.
You were shaken up.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And Matt went out there, checked. He even went to across the apartment, because we had apartments on the other side too.
I remember you saying he was wearing flannel, red flannel or something, and I remember walking out there looking for somebody wearing that.
See, and I don't even remember that. All I remember is you going to the person across the street, asking, saying, "Hey, this is what I just saw," because I think he was married too.
Yeah.
And so you guys were both checking out to see if something happened, because I did.
Yeah, because they're social people.
Yeah, because I just felt, because the way, like I said, the person just, I felt like, I don't want to say the person was targeting me, because you just don't know, but I just felt like the person was going suddenly from walking slow to suddenly feeling like he was walking faster, because he was literally going from being straight to suddenly, I swear, he started going angled towards me. And I'm like, I'm a woman. And I'm little. Yes, I'm 5'4", but I'm only 107 pounds at the time. I'm a little woman, and
it could have been someone who forgot their phone.
No, and it could have been, but as a woman, at the time I didn't have any I didn't do any protection classes or anything to protect myself.
No mace.
And so I don't even think I had that, you know, and because most of the time I'm usually doing stuff during the day, or I'm in an area where I'm in a safe neighborhood, and
Yeah.
we were kind of more not downtown, but we were still in an area where it wasn't, because right across the street, the apartments there were not safe at all. They were really bad, and so, you know, he went to check whatever, he comes back, and he kept just saying, he goes, well, there's nothing out there, you'll be fine. He goes, here's the, like, he even showed me where his knife was and put it next to the bed.
Yeah,
that
and
way,
we locked the door. It's a deadbolt.
So this
And
was
it's
like, this was before he left to go meet
Yeah,
up with
and-
you?
Yeah, and I was
see.
like, dang, I only got 15 minutes before I'm about to go meet up with Alex. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to be
and,
fine.
And in my mind, all I kept thinking was, like, you care more about your friend Alex than your woman who's scared. Because honestly, a lot of girls probably would have probably left him. Because in my mind, the way he, because I mean, yeah, he was making sure I was protected, because obviously he made sure the doors were locked. He said, hey, the
I went out
neighbor
and
knows-
checked.
You
know,
know,
I did all the
and-
man
and-
things.
And I understand that, but with a woman who's never experienced that before, you know, in my mind, I just thought, you know, sorry, but I didn't feel like he had enough sincere from me. You know, if he was a woman, maybe he would understand better. Because honestly, a lot of men don't have to worry about that. In their mind, I can beat the crap out of you. Men aren't as afraid. Men don't target other men. Unless maybe they got some weird fetish going on. But usually, you know, men target women because we're more weaker. It's the truth, you know, and I hate, because yes, we may have strong minds, but not all of us are strong. We're not all bodybuilders. And I just, in my mind, I kept thinking was like, how dare he leave me all because because I understood he wanted to play pool, he wanted to hang out
Oh, yeah,
with you, but
we didn't, we did that once a week. You and I went out.
yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
once
yeah,
a
you
week.
guys did it once
Just
a
about.
week.
And I looked forward to
least.
those
Well,
days.
you did
Absolutely.
you did. You guys did it once a week, and I was fine with that and everything. Because for me, it was him hanging out with, you know, his buddy, and I mean, we're like not even 3 months into the relationship. But in my mind, I kept thinking this though was like, okay, if he did this now, is he gonna do this again to me in the future, where this could happen again, even though our house is locked? But what if we were living in the middle of the woods? And he did this all because he was just thinking about his friend.
Now, I did everything I could have the other day when it was warm out. We had our screen door open. So, we had our glass door open. It was just a screen. And we let our cats go out there because it's an enclosed porch.
Yeah.
Pretty Face, the cat that's laying on your bag right now,
Yeah.
he was tucked over facing this direction. He was facing... but anyway, he was facing the woods, and
He was
he
growling.
just started growling out of nowhere.
And I thought it was because sometimes the other cats, you know, sometimes cats don't get along.
This was here?
Yeah.
This is here. This is right out here in our
And
enclosed porch.
And I thought he was just, you know, like, just telling one of the other cats to get off and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I go out there thinking, okay, who's bugging him? Because I thought, honestly, it was go to your friend, because they're usually the troublemakers. So I go out there, and there's nothing, and I look out, and I don't see anything.
You can't see anything.
Yeah.
There's no light out there. There's just a light in the porch, and then
And
it
it-
like reflects off the screen. So anything beyond that screen, you got to get up and
Yeah.
do the tunnel
and
vision.
even when I got up there, though, he was still growling. Like, I was like, what's going on? Like, I was trying to see, and I couldn't see anything. And I mean, he was probably looking for a good, not even, like, long, it was like a good 30 minutes. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, so I went out there,
Yeah.
and we both heard it. It sounded like
you could hear the gruffling of the
rustling
leaves.
of something, like brushing up on the leaf or on the bushes out there, or something. It wasn't. It sounded like
Like it could have
footsteps.
just been someone else's cat or something. It
Yeah,
sounded like
well,
footsteps.
Maybe
Well,
it
because-
sounded like something walking,
Yeah,
like a deer
because,
or
I mean,
something.
we heard shuffling,
Oh, yeah.
and I mean, the next day we took the dogs out, and he even told me that Pete, literally, our pit bull puppy, he was smelling the whole trail.
Yeah, he was on to something over there. So I don't know.
Interesting.
It could have been an animal anyway, but
Some kind of.
but,
I mean, we
but
live
in my
we live in the
defense,
country.
I went out there. You know, Brittany didn't want me to go outside, but I went outside and I checked everything. I was like, "Who the fuck is out here?" You know, I had my knife on me and stuff. Anyway, so
But it is.
I do
mean,
my perimeter check.
No, and I understand that, but like I said, it was
Keeping
my
you
first
safe.
time, and all I kept thinking at the time was, okay, are you gonna put me? Is it like I did honestly at the time? All I thought was like, okay, if I was any other woman, I probably would have been like, great, do you not really care about me? Like, because honestly, I was thinking that, going like, I know you did your check and everything and doing your man part, but at the same time, in my mind, I expected him to stay there and make me feel more comfortable, because I wasn't feeling safe, even though he did everything he needed to. I mean, that's a scary thing for something I've never experienced in my life.
Right there, I just want to say, from the moment you said it was my first time to just when I interrupted you, I just like thought about if it was your first time having sex, and then everything you said after that was hilarious in that context. I just wanted him to stay there, and I didn't feel safe. Oh man. I'm sorry, that was funny.
Anyway, the reason that Alex wanted you on... Alex, go ahead. Introduce the reason why we had this special guest on.
Absolutely. So, for those of you who don't know, we've actually talked about this on the cast before.
A number of times.
But for those of you who don't know, Brittany is opening up her own business. Brittany, why don't you tell us about what that business is called and what it is?
Well, I'm opening a hair salon called Heavenly Hair LLC. My biggest mission with this salon was one of the things I've been discovering is I've been doing hair for 7 years, licensed in Idaho and in Washington. And one of the biggest things that I've seen is a lot of corporations, they just care about the money. They're very money hungry. And it's the truth. I mean, what corporation isn't? I mean, that's how they make their paycheck. That's how they have their nice homes. I mean, who doesn't want to live a nice life?
And you worked for these corporations before, right?
And the thing that sucked, though, is I sometimes wish these CEOs, though, went back and looked at us small people, because without us, they wouldn't have what they have now. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, of course, enjoy your life, but, at the same time, it's like, for one of the companies I worked for, because I don't want to name them because I don't want to get in trouble with them or anything like that, but one of the companies I worked for, the people didn't even care about us. They cared more about profit, and, like, every time we were like, hey, because we didn't even make money, because, like, a lot of businesses, you make commission off product. This franchise that we worked for did not give us any money for a commission. They're like, well, you already make minimum wage, it's $11.50 an hour in Washington, plus you make tips. And it's like, you understand that we work our butts off, and we work at a lower end salon, and we get a lot of crappy people in here, and we don't even deserve this. And like, our boss, she would get upset because all the time she'd be like, oh, you need to sell this much profit, every month of, products. And I was like, and I look in. There's
no incentive.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, we don't make any, because when I actually got hired there, all I thought was like, I even asked the person, because someone's like, oh, you don't make commission anymore because the minimum wage went up, and so I even asked her, I said, so why do you make us? How do you think we're gonna sell product if we don't get any benefit out of it? And she was like, well, you already make this much plus tips, and all I think is like, I don't think you understand though. It's like, you probably make way more money than all of us. First of all, because we found out that eventually she actually, from what I've heard, is that she's actually one of the partners of the business, of the franchise people. But I was like, well, when you don't have bonuses, because it's like there was one month where we were really low, and she goes, oh, you guys need to sell this, and here's games to play, whoever wins, you just win, but you don't win anything. I said, so
I remember that.
Yeah.
The fucking prize was a pizza for everyone.
Jeez.
So there was no incentive for one person to do better than anyone else.
Right.
A fucking pizza.
Well, and the thing, though, is I asked, because we even said, we're like, okay, because the manager who I walked with loved her to death, because she's actually younger than me, and she's actually going to follow me. And when I talked to her, because she always told me what was going on. Like, she's a very cool, honest boss, and I asked her, I was like, oh, I saw that we have this, where you have to, every time you sell so much product, you have to fill out, it was a bowling game, where each pen you did, and then if you did this, then that your salon is the one that's the winner, we won nothing. And so I was like, so I asked her, I said, so what can we, I'm like, why don't we win anything? Well, she goes, well, I asked the boss, hey, if we win something, maybe we'd be encouraged to do it. And she goes, well, what are you saying that if I give you because she was like, well, why aren't you guys doing the competition? She goes, well, we don't get a reward. What's the point? And she goes, so if I give you a gift card, you guys would be willing to do it? And she goes, yes. And she goes, oh, seriously? Got upset about it. And it's like, sorry, but to me, that's being a selfish, pardon my language, bitch.
So what are you doing differently in your salon to make sure that your employees feel better about incentives or selling product, or what are you doing differently than what you were just describing?
Well, and that's the thing is, all these salons I've worked at, because I tell people that, it sucked working at these salons. They taught me value things that I want to bring into my salon. First of all, is I plan to make any employee I have, I want to make it where, think about Costco. You go in there, you get great products for a reasonable price, plus you never see anyone leave. It's hard to get a job in there because you get treated so well. I mean, I've met people at Costco who get paid well.
People retire from Costco.
I've heard good things about employee.
And I tell people, I want to be like Costco, where,
you okay?
I couldn't say the word.
Employee, blah, blah, blah.
I was trying to say employed at Costco. Employee. Sorry.
But my thing is, I am a higher end salon. It's gonna be very modern, but it's got a vintage look to it. But it's cheaper prices. Women haircuts are only $18. Men cuts only $15. Kids, seniors, and students with college ID, $13. $10 for any servicemen. So that's cops, firefighters, and military. Because in my mind, not just military should receive discounts, but also cops and firefighters, because they also put their life on the line.
For sure.
And for me, that's me saying, thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for keeping me safe. I value that. And then the last one I have is just $8 for a buzz cut, and plus obviously other prices. But, I want people to be able to be like, you know what, I want to go into a nice salon, but why should you have to break the bank? Because with me, I'm a hairstylist, and I don't even want to spend I spent $40 on a haircut, and guess what? It wasn't that good. Mm-hmm. And I want everyone to be able to go in somewhere and be like, wow, this is nice. Wow, and you're not expensive. Like, this is a good feeling.
Absolutely.
And no other salon has that. Either it's cheap and it looks okay, or they're expensive and they're high end, but they don't do walk-ins. They only do by appointments. One of the biggest things I saw where, we're going to be located at is a lot of them don't have websites. A lot of them don't let you do walk-ins. And it's like, I don't want to limit my people. I want everyone to feel welcome. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be limited to only having appointments, because I know sometimes with me, I literally decide, okay, today I'm going to get a haircut. Can they get me in today? I don't have it planned 6 weeks in advance, But the thing with the salon is...
And sometimes a break in your schedule opens up that was unexpected. And you're just like, haircut time.
Absolutely, And the thing with this salon that's so different from any other salon, though, is that the way I'm going to be paying my employees is either you make hourly or commission, but most time if you work really hard and you have a lot of clientele, you're going to be making commission. And in the beginning, you'll be making 40% of that. Excuse me, a little burpy there. And then you'll be making 10% on
That's
product.
A fair.
Be quiet. And then eventually after a year, you will actually be making 45% on commission with 15% on product, and most salons don't offer this. And on top of that, after I'm established, I'm hoping in a year this will happen, but I'm not for sure yet. But in a year, I want to make it where they get a paid vacation, because most salons of, unless it's a franchise, you don't get paid vacation. Not that I know of. I mean, right. I've never seen that, because I've even worked,
and not just salons, but anywhere. I've been working for this place for a year, and I don't have any vacation time.
And I want to provide that, and as long as you're smart with your money and with your budget, because I tell people, this is what I believe with the business, is that whatever I receive, my employees should receive the same thing, and a lot of companies don't think like that. And
true story.
Not a lot of people think like that.
True story.
Well, because here's the thing, though, is that you lose good people when you don't treat them well. And that's how you keep crappy people. And guess what? I'm not paying crappy people my money because I tell people.
Plus, that feeds in. Sorry to interrupt there, but it feeds into the employee satisfaction. The happier the employee is, the happier the service is going to be, or the happier they're going to be to do that service, and the better connection your customer has with the energy of your entire building. If they have a pleasant experience, if your employees are happy, just the vibes are going well.
Oh, yeah.
That shows. It really does.
One other thing, too, is I'm even going to provide, I'm still looking into it, because I know Washington's going to make it a law anyway soon enough, but I even want to make sure that before they even we're going to have the law placed with Washington, I believe, I'm actually going to provide health insurance. Not many companies do that either. And I want to make sure, like I said, if I'm keeping myself, making sure that I'm taken care of and I get paid vacations, my employees should receive the same thing. Because I tell people, when I hire someone, I'm expecting 100% out of you, because I expect 110 out of me. I'm not expecting any less from you than what I expect from me. Like I tell people, if you clean that toilet, so do I. Because I tell people, yes, I'm your boss, and I do your payroll, and I do the extra work that, obviously a normal employee cannot do. But without them, I would not have my job. And I want them to know that I cherish what they do, But I expect a lot from you, because I expect a lot from myself. I'm not. I was even telling my husband that in the future, I hope I'm only going to work maybe 2-3 times a week, but also be there on the other days doing paperwork, because I see a lot of bosses where they're like, oh, well, I'm making money, I don't have to be here. Well, I barely see the boss, and it's like, that's not how this is not professional. Like, you're showing that I'm making money, so why should I bother my face to be here every day?
Lead by example.
You know, and that's how you get more. And I mean, I was talking to some girl about this, and she goes, that gets you so much respect from your employees. And I go, it's because I want that respect, but you have to earn it. You don't just get handed respect. You have to earn that. You know, and with me opening this salon at first, we open up 6 days a week. Guess what? I'm going to be there 6 days a week on all those hours until we have enough employees, because that's how you show that you're
So
good.
when you sorry, Alex.
I think I asked you this before, but can I smoke this in here?
Oh yeah. Go right ahead.
What is it?
So when are you planning on being
Just
open?
E-cig.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it smells good.
So when are you planning on being open?
Hopefully December 1st, but we think it's going to be open sooner. That's the feeling I get, is that we're going to be open sooner, and I'm so excited because this place is coming, it's getting together really fast. Like, I mean, literally, we have less than a month. It's really coming up, and we just today Matthew just helped me finish building the shelves that we're gonna have for each station. That's gonna have all of our licenses and then our retail products, so it's not on your station. So we just got that done today. That took me all week last week.
Yeah, I finally got to see the location tonight when Matt picked me up. He took me over there so I could help him bring some stuff in.
Thank you, by the way.
My pleasure.
I appreciate that, because that stuff was not
that
lightweight.
one of those packages was 200 pounds.
Yeah, so finally I looked at him and I said, listen.
So thank you for helping.
Well, I
You
looked at
bet.
him and I said, how about we, because of how heavy it was and we were trying to figure out how to get it into the car, I was like, how about we take this package apart to make it easier? And there was two sheets in there that were really heavy, and I was like, well, no wonder this thing's so heavy.
Yeah.
But I finally got to see the spot, and it's a really nice spot. I think you guys found like the perfect spot for what you're trying to put in there. I mean, he was showing me the plumbing that was already back there. It's like perfect for, you know, the hair state or the hair washing station.
The shampoo spot.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just plumbed perfect for it.
Well, and the building itself, that little strip mall, is really nice. It's not like run down or old or anything like that. It's got like the nice like wood awnings going on.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's nice.
And the brick.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
landlord who actually owns it, him and his family, they actually live in Spokane, and because some people don't know this, but with the lease, you also pay an NNN, where that means taking care of maybe some places it's the water or it's the garbage or snow removal or just taking care of the premises,
parking
whatever.
lot.
Well, our NNN actually goes to the landlord. He actually does the snow removal. He goes, we've tried with other businesses. He goes, but I know it's going to get done when it needs to be done. He goes, because obviously they don't just have my lot, but they have all these others. So, you know,
he'll do it like 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I mean, he's the one who keeps it, and he actually even used to do construction.
Matt was telling me he's helped you guys actually do some construction inside your space.
And he didn't make me pay for any of the demo stuff. And he goes, well, in the lease it said that, you know, I wasn't gonna make you pay for the tire or the demo. And it's like, well, either way though, that's really nice. Like, he still hasn't charged me anything. And because the other day I said, how much is this gonna cost? And he goes, I haven't charged you yet. And it's like, what a great guy.
Absolutely.
But,
when I opened my business out in Coeur d'Alene, we didn't get any. First of all, the strip mall was not that nice, and we had to do all that stuff ourselves. Yeah, they didn't help us out with any of that. So that's great that they can do that.
Yeah, and it's not a huge conglomerate. Like we have his number, so it's just like, yo, Rick, what up with this?
Yeah,
and Brittany's super cool about it.
The other day he texted me and he goes, hey, the electrical will be here. He goes, can you be there? Because he was like, I just want you to double check with them to make sure that everything's where you want it to be. And I said, yeah, I'll be there. So I was there for like not even 10 minutes, and I was like, hey, did he say this? And they added a couple extra outlets because he forgot to mention them, because one of them's for the head dryer, because obviously we need a little electrical so the people's hair can get dry.
And he's come up with a lot of those ideas. Like, you saw how we cut half of the wall out between the restrooms.
Yeah,
you
saw that? That was his idea.
Really?
We were thinking about taking that whole wall out, but it would have had a lot of open space leading to that restroom. You know,
I think it's great having that little bit of
just that little lip, little lip.
And on both sides he's gonna make it, because he goes, I had an idea that we make both sides into a storage, one next to the bathroom and one towards your office.
Yeah, that wall between the bathroom and Brittany's office.
Yeah,
that was his idea. It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, because I told him that I thought about it, but I was like, I was afraid that, you know, that would have cost more money or whatever, and I just didn't want to make it more of a hassle. And he goes, no, this is easy. And so I was like, because he even said, he goes, well, do you want me to put a door? Or do we want to put a carton in front of, you know, all the cleaning supplies? And I told him, I said, well, the one for the bathroom, I want a door, just because sometimes some people's kids trying to be rude, but some people don't pay attention to their kids sometimes, and I don't want a kid getting in a chemical and then swallowing something.
Yeah.
Last thing I need is to call 911 because some kid got into some chemicals and go, hello, spray down the throat.
Right.
And I said, the other side though, I said, we can use a carton. I don't care if anyone sees it.
Yeah,
because
some people bring their children in and then get a hair color.
Which takes a long time.
Which is like, what, 2 hours, dear? Is that
that's
like 2 hours?
My last job that happened where
people
some
would
woman,
end up babysitting a fucking kid.
Yeah, so one of the...
Brittany's like,
no, because I tell people...
Not here.
Here's the thing, is because most of my salons I've been at, usually it's pretty... People are usually really good with their kids. Like, I understand that if you want to get a haircut, that's only about 20 minutes. You know, kids can last a little bit like that as long as they have a toy to play with.
Yeah.
But if you're getting a hair color service, I was telling my friend who's following me, I said, we can tell them we're not going to do them that day. I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. I go, but I'm not...
We're not a daycare.
I'm a hairstylist. I don't watch because I don't even have my own children. You know, it's like I'm good with cutting the kids' hair when I need to because I can be really nice with them. But when it comes to babysitting, I did not get hired for that. I do not get paid for that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not open a daycare. And I said, you know, and I even got a little area for the kids. Like I got a cute little table with chairs. That way they can play at this little station that they have their own little corner at the salon so they still feel like part of the salon because I want them to feel like it. But if you're doing a hair color service, I'm like, no, we can decline them and they can come back a different time. You know, because, sorry, but that's not fair to other customers either. Because when you're not watching your kids, that's when they start getting all crazy. And how is that fair to all the other clients who are trying to enjoy their service and get out of there?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure that everyone feels good.
So, Brittany, let me ask you, you know, for the process so far, what do you think has been probably the most challenging thing to overcome?
The building. Because the first place I tried going through, I was going through a corporation and they literally were trying to destroy me. They were going to try and make me pay for everything.
Right.
Like, even if, like, something bad happened, they were like, oh, you'll have to pay for our lawyer fees. And it's like, why would I pay for that? Like, I'm not the one who's causing trouble. Like, for me, honestly, all I thought was, like, I just need a space. I'll take care of it. I'm not going to treat this like crap because I'm paying for it and I want people to come in here feeling invited. That's all I care about.
Now, let me interrupt here. There was a number of things that was wrong with that place. First off, the lease agreement was 64 fucking pages long.
Yeah, you were telling me.
My soon-to-be sister-in-law, she's a lawyer, and she goes, I've never seen something this scary. Like, she was scared.
And she did all the fine print and, you know, there's all that legal mumbo-jumbo. But basically what she said is they could terminate the lease at any time for anything. And we would still continue to have to pay a minimum of the 5-year lease, which was 20-something, 2,000-something per month.
It's pretty much $3,000 a month.
$3,000 a month.
And they can raise it any time.
So she said, she gave us this scenario. So you could go in there, turn the key the first day, paint a wall. They could come in and say, we don't like that color. You're out of here. And they could come after, we were obligated to pay the lawyer fee if we decided to sue them over, you know, the paint color. Plus, they could terminate us over that paint color, and then we were obligated to pay the remaining 5 years. So they could come after this house. They could come after our vehicles.
Yeah, no.
They could
definitely
destroy a life, basically.
Yeah.
Just
bad news.
Well, because they had nothing, and when I actually talked to one of the brokers who took care of the building, he goes, oh, this is a good place. He goes, we have a lot of corporations. And I go, I'm not a corporation, though. I go, I'm an individual business. That's the difference. And as soon as he told me, he was like, oh, this place is available. And I go, I'm not going to even try. I said, my lawyer told me against it. And as soon as I said, lawyer, you said the word lawyer, people run for their lives, it seems like. Because I was like, my lawyer told me this place is a scam. And he shut up.
Really?
Yeah, Brittany, I remember that conversation. Well, it was on speakerphone, and she said, Brittany goes, yeah, we're not going to go through you. And he goes, okay.
And hung up. He
was just done. Like, he was just waiting. He didn't give a shit about anyone's life. He just was waiting for that.
He just cared about his pocket.
Yeah.
And
waiting for that check to roll in. And then.
But lucky enough, you know, but here's the thing, though, is that even though I hired her, I read it myself because all I thought was, like, I want to make sure that no matter what lease I sign, because there was one time when I was 18 years old, I signed some gym membership and I forgot to sign something, and when I left, some girl added something on there, so I got in trouble for it, and it went to the debt collector where I owed like $600 because I kept refusing to pay something for a gym membership. And so I kept, and my mom kept saying, just ignore it. Well, eventually went to the debt collector. So because of that instance, I was like, from now on, read everything. Mm-hmm. So it took me 4 days. And poor Matthew was like, he didn't know how I did it, because for 4 days, I was like, I sat down and I kept saying, I need to read this. And he was like, okay, I'll leave you alone. Because I was like, I want to make sure I understand this. And she was like, I'm really impressed on how you caught some of these things that I don't think other people would have caught, because I kept saying, why would I pay this? Why would I pay this? And so, but you know what? It was a good learning experience, though, because it taught me how to basically negotiate with other leases, though, because then we found another place, but it was on Division Street, but
downtown.
The location wasn't very safe looking. Like, everywhere else looked nice, but the building, the guy who owned it just didn't, you could tell that he didn't care about the building, because it was an ugly green rooftop.
The color was faded, the parking lot was not well kept up, the lines were chipping away.
Well, next door it was a discount, like, kind of pot
discount smoke shop.
Yeah,
just
and
tobacco.
The entire time I kept seeing really fishy people, and I wasn't paying attention to that. I just kept thinking location, And so when he went to, when he saw that, he was like, I really don't like this place, and I'm like, crap. And I was even talking to one of my clients who actually works in real estate. I told her, I said, yeah, this place apparently doesn't feel that safe. That's what my husband says. He wants to hire a security guard. And all I thought was like, who gets a security guard for a hair salon? And she goes, if you tell me this, she goes, I wouldn't feel safe to get there. And all I thought was like, okay, this is a higher end clientele, because I do have some of those, because my clientele ranges from poor to rich.
Yeah.
And when she told me this, all I thought was like, okay, this girl's got money. And I want to make sure she feels safe, because if this woman doesn't feel safe, what other women won't feel safe? Or what their kids won't feel safe? So what's funny is this location we found. I refused it so many times. It popped up the first time when I saw it looking, but
the
I
one
was
that we
like,
went with, not the one on Division.
This place that we found, when I first started looking, I saw it and I was like, oh, it looks kind of cute. But then when I went to look at it, I wasn't feeling it, because right next to it had a huge just empty land. If you saw that big empty land
behind
the
building.
Like, I don't think I saw it behind it.
It was behind the car wash.
Yeah,
didn't see it. No.
Well, we did find out actually by the landlord that someone just bought it. It's actually going to be a medical building.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
a hospital.
Because I told him,
there's a lot of those around down that area up north.
Yeah, because I told him the truth. I said, well, when I originally saw this place, all I saw was this empty land, and I didn't keep going and seeing all these other businesses, and all I thought was like, great. So here's a business, now there's empty land. Like, who's gonna ever see me? And that's what I kept thinking. Well, then it popped up again when I finally found my new broker, who was a great guy. His name was Brent, and he popped it up, but I refused it again, because I was like, no. Well, then, and then after the second place fell through,
after the Division fiasco,
I was like, okay, I've got to find a place, because I've had no job already for 2 months at this time, and I was like, I've got to find a place. I'm ready to work. I'm ready for this business to get going. So finally, I found this third place, and both Matthew and the broker were like, we showed you this place. Why did you keep refusing?
No, I remember that day, and you were like, I just can't find a good place, and she was swiping. And that building came up. It's actually called
I don't even
Nevada Towers is what the actual strip mall is called. Yeah. And I was like, what's wrong with that one? I was like, holy hell, because it's got the beautiful wood awning and the stone pillars.
What did I say?
And you were like, I looked at this one before. And I was like, click that shit. And we looked at it, and it was just it's a beautiful building, beautiful location.
So now, what's your lease look like? Because I know a lot of those places, like, for instance, the place that I got into in Coeur d'Alene, we had to do, it was like a one year lease with like a 3-year option. So like if we were there for a year, then our next re-up had to be for 3 years.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Mine is where I sign up for 3, and then when it gets too close, I can't remember, it was like 180 days or something like that, but that's where 180 days before the end of the third year, if I want to, I can renegotiate and add another 3 years. And so that, but actually out of all the leases I had, they were the cheapest actually. The cheapest to pay for my lease with the NN rate every month. The cheapest by like, I think $300.
Can I ask how much your lease is every month?
I'm paying $2,000, I think it's $664. All the other places were $3,000 basically.
Almost, yeah, so almost.
And one of them was in a high-end place, and the other place was crap.
But that's a lot of square footage.
Yeah.
And the previous lease, the previous people who leased it out, the Froyo, they had that obnoxious wall that you saw was taken out.
Yeah.
And it really opens it up beautifully.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alex was really impressed with that location.
No, I'm excited. I mean, it's coming together and it looks beautiful. And I mean, he literally all the guy has to do, our landlord, all he has to do now is put the foundation up, and that's it. The walls.
Yeah. The skeleton is there, but we just need to hang the drywall.
Yeah, that.
Right,
and put the door in.
Right. Clean up and
trim it up.
Yeah, because I was thinking next week
in there and whatnot.
I was thinking next week I'll go in there, and while they're doing work, I'll go in there and start building all my stuff. Because since Matt's working full time, I'm like, I don't want to make him do all the.
I'm working double full time, a full time job and dog training.
Yeah,
hey,
I mean he's really busy, so I was like, I told him, I said, with him getting everything there, I was like, okay, well once you get everything there, then I'll start putting everything together and start putting, because when I talked to Rick, my landlord, I asked him, I said, when can I start putting stuff together? Because obviously I don't want to get it all done in one night, because that's just going to be crazy. That would drive me nuts.
Absolutely.
And he goes, once the demo's done, he goes, there won't be any dust anymore. He goes, you'll be fine. So next week I'm going to go in and start putting things together. Because I even told him, I said, I don't care if anything gets dusty as long as it doesn't get damaged, because I can sweep the dust off.
Right.
I can clean that. I just don't want anything getting smashed.
Right. Absolutely. Wow, that is amazing. Are you excited? I mean, opening up your own business is a big, big deal.
And that's the hardest thing, is some people, like, me and Matt have been dealing with some situations with, like, because I had to use credit cards to open this business. I took out 5 credit cards, $15,000.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go, isn't that scary? And I go, it's scary, but you can't take a chance without being scared. I go, and I knew this was meant to be.
Absolutely.
Because some people might call me crazy, and I always thought people were crazy when they said this. I go, but God put this in my path. Because I originally was going to be going back to school to become an accountant. I was going to become a CPA and learn American Sign Language to be an interpreter with CPA and work with the deaf. That was my original goal.
Wow, that's cool.
I was just going to be...
That's not a bad goal.
And I was just going to... Well, because in my mind, the reason I wanted to do it was because I didn't grow up with a lot of money, and nothing wrong with that, because I was even talking to my mom about how I actually loved my childhood. I appreciated it because...
The reason you wanted to do what? Go to school or open up a...
The reason I went to school was because as a CPA, you make very good money.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Because, I mean, my grandma owned her own CPA firm, and she made tons of money. And I was like, I want to be that person. I go, I don't want to have a hard time and struggle growing up with my kids like I did. Like, I appreciate it, though, because, I told Matt, we're not just going to hand things to our children, because nothing was handed to me. Why would I hand it to my children? I'm not doing that. Unless it's like a car, we'll pay half, they'll pay half. Because I had to buy my own. I didn't have a car until I was in hair school. So that was after I graduated high school when I finally owned a car.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, I originally was going to go to school because I wanted to make money. Well, then one day because I think Matt was the one going like, why don't you open a hair salon? I can't remember how I even got onto the subject.
I came back in May.
Oh yeah, from Caesar Milan.
And I think that energy, just because my intention was to look for a lot of land, not knowing the specs of it or anything. My intention was to open up a dog kennel. I wanted to be the owner of something. And I think it worked out like it was supposed to. Sorry. Folks, just asking the dog to stay calm. But the regulations here for a kennel in Spokane is really strict. So
it's a pain.
and we were just kind of vibing off of that. I told you we looked at that place on Government. It was a dog grooming facility, but they were asking way too much, and we kind of...
And there was a lot of work to be done on that place.
A lot of work.
And I told Matt, honestly, I didn't want to do it because it was just too much.
But we were ready to be business owners. Both of us. We were both getting amped up into that feeling, and I think that you were working at a place we're not going to name, but you were noticing these things we discussed earlier in the podcast about the greediness and you not making enough and where's the incentive. And one thing Brittany does want to do is treat her employees very well.
That's what it sounds like to me.
And and I think we discussed it very briefly.
Because we did. Because I remember
because a lot of people follow Brittany. Brittany has a really good gift. A lot of people call it Hairapy, right? A lot of people call it Hairapy. And when I said that one podcast with the couple, the boomer couple,
Yeah.
The boom operator couple.
Yeah, Tim and Sophia.
She was like, Sophia was like, oh my gosh, it's so true. When I said Hairapy, because that's exactly what it is. And Brittany has the gift of gab. If anybody doesn't understand that from listening to this podcast, but and she's very good at what she does, very passionate, very good work ethic, and I feel comfortable investing that money and time into your dream because you're definitely good at it. She has a following from the previous places she worked at, both of them. And it was it was the right decision.
Because, I mean, as soon as I left my job, like, lucky enough I did all my clientele, like, right before I left, and they knew I was leaving. Because this is what I did was because I'm even putting this in my policy book, because a lot of salons, unless you do booth rent, they don't let you take clientele with you. And it's like, okay, I understand that because you're trying to keep money in your business, but at the same time, when you have clientele, it's because they trust you and they like you, because it's hard to find a good hairstylist. People are really particular.
Okay,
you know?
So...
Uh-oh.
Here's the $1 million question then, for you, Brittany. I've been over here a few times. I think the last time I was over here, or maybe the time before that, you saw I had like way longer hair.
I know, it's really short.
And now it's really short. So, in your professional opinion, what do you think would be the best hairstyle for me?
Well, to be honest, I think the top should be longer. I don't like how it looks so short.
You don't like the top short? You think it should be longer? And how would you style that if it was longer?
Well, honestly, I think because your hair naturally styles to the side, I would just let it style naturally to the side. You need more
the part right here.
Yeah, kind of, because what us hairstylists is, we call it the undercut, but you would have more of a modern vision of the undercut where it's just the sides are shorter, but then you style it like this, because some people with the undercut literally shape all this one number, so it's like bold, and then they have all the hair this way, and then it's just blended on this side. Yours, I would actually make it look like more of a gentleman's cut, but it's like an undercut. It's more of a modern.
So in technical terms, I can tell you that what I get when I go to, and for all of you out there listening, yes, you can judge me all you want, but I do go to Great Clips. I know that I get a 4 on the sides with finger length on top. So if what?
Brittany is
there's a look.
giving a look.
She's got a look.
Well, I'm sorry. It's just a number 4 means leaving half an inch. So I know with me, my finger length, when you say finger length, you've got to be careful with this, because if you look at my fingers, I'm actually about a number 3. And this is what I have to tell people, because they're like, oh, I want a number 4 on the side and finger length on the top. And I said, okay, well, if I do that, you're going to have longer on the side, shorter on the top. Because with the thing is that hairstylists, because we all have different size fingers, so you could have got so your hair could have actually wound up being shorter, because with my fingers, I would have been like, okay, well, you want a number 4, but you're wanting your hair to be short on top. Is that, because I even explain this when I have someone sit in my chair, I'll be like, okay, well, there's a girl over here, because some girls in the hair industry, like any other job, some of them are overweight, and we had a girl at our job who was definitely overweight, and her fingers, I would say, are like a number 8, and that leaves an inch.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes. And so I would tell people, I said, okay, well, with her, a number 4 and finger length would make sense. I go, but mine would not. I go, my finger length is like a number 3. I go, that is shorter than a number 4. And they're like, because that leaves 3/8 of an inch. And they're like, wow, that's really short. And it's like, yeah, so do you want it short, or do you want it to be longer than that? So usually I have to accommodate that, because
So they save that in their system, right? Because if you forget or whatever, you can be like, I don't know, whatever I had last time, and they can look it up. So does that mean that they have some kind of standardization for the finger length? Like, it's not actually your finger length, but like that's like a rough measurement, standard measurement?
It's kind of hard to explain, because most of my clientele, especially like my men, I have the notes in the laptop, but I already know who they are anyway, so, and I already know what they like, so I don't have to worry about it. But, like, if it's a new person, even if they've been to that salon many times, and even if they have notes, I say, okay, this is what the notes say, but this is what, like, if it does say, like, finger length, I'll say, well, finger length is meaning this, and on this number, that's not going to make sense. So I'm like, should we do this instead? And they say, okay. Like, if they say number 4 on the side that leaves half an inch, I'll say, okay, so how about we do, like, 5 where it leaves a little bit more on top? And they're like, okay, and it makes sense for them.
So if you were gonna style my hair and save it in the computer, what would you save it as?
So you probably would say number 4 on the side, and then you'd say finger length on top, but double check.
Well, no, I mean not what they're doing, but for what you said, where you think it should be longer on the top.
Well, I would have said that though. If I saw those notes and it said finger length and it said number 4 on the side, because in my head as a hairstylist, I'm aware that I have really small fingers, and due to that fact, I'd say, I just want you to know that my finger length on this term, when I hear finger length, that means my finger length, and my finger length means only a number 3. Obviously, that for you would not make sense. I would say, this is what we probably should do, and this is what I would recommend, and most time, this is the nice thing, is men usually don't give a crap anyways, because I mean it grows back anyways, but you know, most time
we don't want to be walking around for a month looking,
doofy. Yes, and
doofy.
I understand that.
Yeah, I came up with that word.
But
Are you talking scary movie here? Doofy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
But I will go ahead and because they even say, they're like, well, what do you think? And I'll go ahead and cut. I'll say, well, I can cut this much because we can always cut more. Because I have no problem cutting more. You just can't put it back on.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
And that's what I'll do though, is I'll cut it and I'll and most of the time I always say this, look at it and feel it. Because sometimes you can tell by the feel. I feel like a lot of the times you know exactly how you like it by the way it feels and the way it looks. And so women are a little bit different because women are a little bit more picky. But I tell people the only reason I'm allowed to say this because I'm a woman. We're a pain in the asses. It's true.
Now, do you prefer cutting women's hair, or do you prefer cutting men's hair? Or?
Men, 100%.
So I'm glad to hear that, because I just realized to all of the people listening right now, not only did we get to have Brittany on the podcast as the owner of a brand new hair salon called Heavenly Hair, but also we got to have my new hairstylist on the podcast.
Well, why, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But something back to that policy book that I remember that because we got onto the haircutting thing. But a lot of salons, unless you do booth rent, don't let you have clientele follow you. I'm actually putting something in my policy book where you actually can let your clientele follow you because you build that bond. And why should I take that away from you? Because sometimes maybe you are moving and they'll probably stay with you. Maybe you want something different. Even though, luckily enough, my salon has different benefits compared to any other salon, sometimes you just have something different in your life that you have to move on, and I understand that. So I'm actually having a policy where as long as you put your 2 weeks in, and I see your business card, because I want to make sure that they're not trying to be negative or anything like that, or being rude or anything like that, as long as they carry the cards on themselves, they can hand out the cards only to their clientele. And they can do that for only 2 weeks, but if they just quit, all I'll say is they're no longer with us. And I'm even having them sign a waiver where I say, if your client comes in, at least for the next 2 months or so, if they say, where's this person, if they give me their information, I can say, oh, well, they've gone to this place. But that's only if they put the 2 weeks in. No other salon has this kind of policy. If you ever even try taking clientele, they threaten you, saying that they'll sue you or they'll go after you or something like that. And it's like, that's not fair, because if a client wants to follow you, they have a right to do that. You can't. You shouldn't be taking that away from the client.
Yeah, because you develop that relationship with that person.
Because for me, whenever I've had clientele follow me, I'm not trying to take away the person's business. It's just that people like what I do. I've even had people where I'm like, oh, well, because right now, since obviously I'm not in a salon, I'm not supposed to be cutting people's hair. So I've had people where they're like, well, I really want you to do the hair, but I haven't been able to do anyone's, even though they're like, I won't go to anyone else.
And another thing also that Brittany is doing that I really like is the last few places she worked at, not to name names, were giving Brittany time restrictions on cutting hair. So just basically wanting to pump these people out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Brittany's not necessarily having that. Nice saving the drop on the side of the glass. Alex is pouring almost perfectly over here.
I am having time restrictions, but not where it's like money.
But
I'm making it work because men's haircut should usually take about 15 or 20 minutes. You can make online appointments. I did make it 15 because most men's cuts don't take that long. If it does take a little overtime, that's fine. I'm not gonna mark you down for that because I worked for a place where
because there was penalties in your previous positions for taking too long, and sometimes it takes that little extra minute to develop that relationship to have that person come back.
Well, and that's the thing though, is that one of my jobs before the last one I quit, with this one salon I worked for, I actually had quite a few clients who actually told me, they were like, wow, they're like, you're doing such a good job. I'm like, well, thank you. And they're like, no, they're like, you don't understand. They're like, you're taking your time. He was like, a lot of the people in here just are all about rushing and everything. They're like, and they always say, they're like, you take your time. And because I had a girl, one of the employees go, yeah, I'm not trying to be rude, but you're slow. And I said, I'm fine with that. Because it's not like I took 45 minutes. I mean, a men's haircut, 15 to 20, depending on what they're doing. For women, it's usually about 30 minutes, sometimes 20, just depending on, like I said, what they're doing. Like, if it's a one length, okay, that's 5 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
it just depends. And when she told me that, I said, I take that as a compliment, because literally, when she told me this, literally, that whole week, I kept having people say, I love that you're taking extra time to do my hair, because no one else in this place does that. And it's like, that's something I beat from anyone else, because if you keep telling me this, and they're saying that no one else in the salon does that, that makes me your number one.
So let me ask, do you already have some, what do you call them? Partners? What do you call the people, the people cutting hair in your salon?
Employees?
Employees?
I have no partners. Even though Matt signed for my co-lease,
Right.
I own everything.
No,
my name
She
is
needed me because of my money.
Partner, no. Partner is just a.
I did not marry him for his money, because he does not have that much.
No, partner is just kind of a term for an employee. Kind of like when we worked at Petco, we were called associates. We were the Petco associates.
We just call each other employees. They're all employees for me.
They're all employees. So it's not like, because I know I've talked to some one buddy of mine in particular actually went to school to be a barber. And so I know that in some barber shops, you know, you are a barber, you come in and you usually rent your chair, like you rent your spot. Like it's kind of like
Some of them do that.
it's your business kind of deal, working inside someone else's business. Obviously they get a cut, but
Well, and that's the thing though, is that like I said, with most individual businesses like mine, most time usually it is booth rent. When it's individual, usually it is booth rent. Some of them do hourly, but most time it's always booth rent. And
but you're doing hourly. You're doing.
I'm
you're
doing
an,
hourly
you're
or
an
commission.
employee.
Well, because I had a girl where she goes, yeah, you know, most people like doing the booth rent though, and she's like, why won't you do that? And I told her the truth. I said, because here's the thing though, is that is so funny.
Now, for those of you who are listening here, Alex, since we're at a different location, had to bring the laptop, the microphone to this location, my house, and we have one cat that is a large cat, and he is
Nesting himself.
in, he is like burrowing his nose in the side pocket of Alex's backpack. He's making it work now.
It's adorable.
It really, Goatee is one of the coolest cats.
That's his name, Goatee?
Goatee. When he was younger, he had a little patch right here, but it since developed into all white, which is weird.
Yeah.
So it's the
It
goatee.
was just cute because it was a pretty big black patch, and then it got smaller, and now it's just gone.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
Yeah.
So that's cool, and yeah, and I think, you know, it actually makes more sense now because you had talked about earlier about wanting to offer benefits and
Because no other salon can
travel
do that
time or
when you do
Paid time
booth. Well, and the thing though too is because when I have,
Travel time.
well, no, it wasn't because there's a difference. There's actually a difference between paid time
PTO.
off and vacation, right? No, sorry.
no, it's the same thing.
Sorry, you're right. You're right. It is. I'm thinking there's a difference between PTO
And the sick time.
and sick
Sick
time.
time. Sick time is still mandatory in the state of
And
Washington.
by law though, that's not until at least 90 days. And I already made it though, because that was something else I added in my policy, was because it's hard to sometimes fit in the salon, and I want to make sure that whoever's in my salon feels it and feels comfortable, because we do plan on being busy. Like I said, we do appointments and walk-ins. We're a high-end salon, but cheaper prices, so that's going to bring in a lot of business. You know, like I said, I have printed over 500 flyers to give out to all these people. That's a lot of flyers to give out to people.
So what's your marketing strategy? I mean, I know you just talked about the flyers, but what else are you trying to do?
So right now, I have all the flyers that I will be getting next week, and I'm lucky enough that I have my friend who's following me. Her uncle actually works at the Air Force Base. Her mom is a nurse at the hospital, so I'm giving them all like so many flyers to hand out. I'm going to the recruiting station on the north end for the military. I'm going to go all to the police station. I'm going to give them probably like 100 little, because for them I gave them little cards because it's easier for men to put it in the wallet. So I'm giving them little cards. So all servicemen get a little card where it says $10 for your haircut. I'll go to the fire departments and give out like 10 to each fire department, because there's like 20 on the north end. So I'm going to go around there. I'm going to be doing, I don't know about Google. I do have like a Google business account, but I don't know if I'm going to do anything with them yet, because they are a little bit more spendy, and I am just a brand new business, so I'm trying to spread my money where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do Facebook, because I mean, I literally...
social media is such a good
I made my
marketing.
Facebook Live literally like not even 2 weeks ago, and I already have 82 likes.
Nice.
That's a lot of likes
Yeah,
in just
so
2 weeks.
Absolutely.
If you don't
You're not
mind,
even open.
Do you like Heavenly Hair LLC on Facebook?
I don't know.
Me as a friend, I could invite all my friends to like it. So I mean, if you could do that, that would be fantastic. Just to get.
Did you already invite me to like it? Did I like it?
I invited all of my friends, so I don't know because you don't get on Facebook much. But
I don't.
But I know that you know a lot of people, and you know.
But yeah, 'cause I'm going to use that because Matt's done boosting for his business, and he actually got a call today from that boosting. So I'm going to do this.
It works. I did it too with my business, doing the boosting. On Facebook.
Yeah, and you can. It's nice because you can target your audience. You know, gender-wise, age-wise, so on and so forth.
See, that's the only
There's
thing I'm gonna have a time with
very
those
nice.
because I don't want to just target because I want mine for everyone.
Yours,
it
doesn't need to be targeted.
You don't want to. You want to stay away from like kids, right? So what's the minimum age on Facebook? 14, 13?
I even have kids though. The thing.
But are the kids like? I guess okay, maybe.
Well, I guess kids don't really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kids
There was
have
a law.
Facebook?
It was a law passed not too long ago where you had to be such and such an age to get to like be on social media or like sign up for the account.
Yeah, I know. I was.
Kids will mess that. They're 10 and they'll be pretending.
I swear they're smarter. They're smarter technology than we are these days. I swear it's crazy.
Right.
But no, I mean, I'm doing many because I was even going to do the newspaper, but they wanted to charge me like $300 just for a Sunday.
Yeah, the spokesman
for literally for an ad for
ridiculous.
Yeah, I had one of the local radio stations in Coeur d'Alene call me up and ask if I wanted to do some advertising, and they wanted like $400 to run like one ad that was like not during prime time.
Yeah,
on the radio.
Yeah.
Like
it's like for a small section, which is like 1.5 by 2.5. You know what I'm saying? In the bottom corner of whatever page, not even the front page or anything.
I think eventually I might
it's like $300
newspaper, but
for 3 days. It's like what the fuck?
It's a brand new business, I'm on a budget. So, but I mean, the fire thing is definitely going to be probably like the biggest thing. And I mean, I was telling
we do know a lot of people working at the gym and everything.
Yeah,
Tom, the retired sheriff deputy. He's going to be handing flyers out to.
Well, and that was the thing too. Is I was going to go to grocery stores, and because I can't go to cars because apparently that's soliciting, and I guess that's against the law. But I can go to the managers and give them little discount cards, whatever. Or because I even talked to Costco, I talked to one of the employees, and I said, "Hey, can I give you guys some of my flyers and just give it to the employees?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, the manager does that all the time." So I'm going to be going to all the grocery stores. There's like 5 grocery stores around me. I'm going to be going to the gyms. I mean, I've got literally, I'm going to be going to the public libraries. I mean, I've got a list of places where I'm going to go and give out all these things and stuff. And I mean, I'm so ready. I'm ready to walk. It's been like 5 months and it's driving me nuts. I mean, yes.
Me too.
The thing though is that it's like I told Matt though, is if I still be working, this wouldn't be going as well as it's been going.
I respect that you need to put the time in, and I understand.
Well, because I mean, it's a lot of work. It's very, it could have been way more stressful because even before I left that job, every day they're like, "Oh, we need you for this and this and this," and I go, and it's like I have a schedule. I can't just leave my job. Like I have to like be here and try and fit. And I mean, I was going back and forth. I was leaving before I had to leave like an hour before going to work when I first started like looking at my buildings and everything. Like it was crazy. I mean, literally every day I was like, I got this going on, and I was like, I'm gonna drive myself nuts because I worked full time trying to do this.
We lost half of our income for the past 5 months, and thank God for that dog training. That really is what saved our asses.
It really did.
Because we were called, I remember when it was slow, I would be, hey, are we maxed out on our Costco card? Because I need gas and fucking cottage cheese like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing though, is it has not been easy.
And it's not been easy these last few months.
But lucky enough with me went to school for accounting, I've been doing our budgets and everything, and I go, okay, we have this much money, and lucky enough, like he said, the money that's been coming from his dog business has really, it's basically given us that second pay. It just helps us get just through that little tough time.
Just buy enough.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing though, is as soon as I open, he plans on leaving his job, and I am telling him, because I said, there's no way for you to really finally get into a business unless you really left your job.
I'm so ready for that. Alex and I discussed it last podcast, classes. God.
And by the way,
excited.
some of the class ideas, I have some class ideas that I gave him, and he thought it was really very smart of me to give him.
What were those? What was the?
Well, because he wants to do a puppy training like 1 and 2, and I even told him that if someone does both classes, he should give them obviously a discount for if they sign up for both. But something they should do that most trainers don't even do. Plus, he has Caesar Milan training. But something that I told him that he should do that most places don't do is, yes, when you're there and you're paying for it, you're training your dog and you're really serious. But usually when you get home, a lot of times you let a lot of it slip away. And I said, you need to make it depending on how many people you have and how many weeks you do it. You need to decide if you're going to do once or twice a week with some, for how many people is in your class. Go and actually do at-home training to see what the most difficult and help them with that.
Yeah.
Because no other training that I know of does that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that will make
it's like a house call for dog training.
Exactly. And I said, that's something that
it's a really good idea.
Doctors don't even do that anymore.
I've gotten training sessions, full sessions, off of people who've done classes, and they're like, yeah, the class is like a controlled setting, but when I get home, there's this deer or something, something that isn't in a controlled setting happens at home or on a walk, and then you're fucked. And it's like, okay.
Well, and I was even talking to one of his clients about this, and she actually told me this happened to her, where her daughter had a Dalmatian, and they did a 9-week training class, and she goes, we actually had to get rid of the dog because, yeah, the dog was training, but at home, didn't give a crap. Wasn't listening. The training was like, she was like, I feel like it was clueless, and we paid, she goes, 9 weeks of training, and nothing made a difference. She goes, and I told her, I said, yeah, I thought this would be a good idea, and she goes, that's phenomenal. She goes, that's something great to put in your business.
And they dump money into that 9-week training, that's like $4,000. Like, I've had dogs that have gone through like $4,000 worth of training, and all they know is to sit, stay, and come to you.
And
are you kidding me?
Well, that's the thing too, though, is that
you are shitting me. What about the doorbell? What about the dog's
that's
psychology?
The thing, though, is that's
like,
the thing, though, is I told him, I said, when you finally leave your job, you can full on put all your attention into this business and say, okay, here's training 1. What do we want to put in this? Training 2. What do we want to put in
lease
this?
Training, puppy training, senior training, walking training, everything training.
Well, because like I keep explaining to him, is when he's working his job full time and trying to do his dog training too, he only has enough time to give them energy for the dog training and nothing else for his business. I go, you need to fully engross it like I have. I go, and the only way you can do that is you need some time to yourself to only just literally do your business. Because there's times where I'm literally watching TV and suddenly I go, oh, I need to get this done. I'm like, oh, give me a moment. And then suddenly I get on the laptop. I'm on there for 5 hours and Matt's like, you're still on the laptop? And it's like, oh, well, I'm getting this done. I got the, like, literally, I'll be on the laptop for 5 hours. I got something, like, today I got the shelves done. I got my Google business account done. And it sounds like simple, but it's a lot more
But it
work.
takes time. I mean, Brittany, you probably put, what, 4 hours of your day into that business? If not more?
Probably more. That was. I remember one day he got mad at me because I was on the laptop for 6 hours and I didn't realize it. Because I mean, like I said, a lot of this, like the flyers and everything, I designed. Yes, I used Vistaprint, but I had to do all the design and make sure it looked the way I wanted it to.
You're doing
the
programming for your system for the salon.
I had to get my website, took like a month.
Your website.
I used Vistaprint, but I kept having to get little things fixed because I'm not website savvy, so I had to have them fix it.
And shout out to Vistaprint because damn, they came up with a great website, and they did a lot of requests, revisions that you had. They were very fast.
Yeah, they even gave me...
And it's affordable. Shout out to Vistaprint right now.
I got 1 month for free, and then they thought I was trying to cancel it because for some reason they were like literally they were on top of it. They kept emailing me saying, "Oh, we got this done. Look at your new revision." Because the first time they did it, I loved it, but I didn't like a couple things. Like all the pictures were women, and I'm like, great, they're gonna think this is just a woman's salon.
Oh yeah,
I want
this
to
is
cater.
great.
I'm like, I want to cater to everyone. So I said, will you add some men and some kids? They took it to heart a little too much because literally it was all men and kids.
It was all men. All men.
And I kept laughing because one of the pictures, it had a kid going like this. Oh, look like the kid was looked like the kid was screaming.
Like on Halloween or something.
Oh! Yeah,
like Home Alone.
Yeah, and so I had to tell him, I said, I think it was like a week or 2 weeks later, I told them about this and they didn't get back to me. Because, I mean, literally they got back to me like within like 2 to 3 days. And I'm like, it's been like 2 weeks because I was like, you know what? I asked for this, whatever.
Yeah.
They've probably been busy. Because, I mean, I understand. Everyone's busy.
Is it 152?
104.
Oh, okay. I do have to pee soon.
Okay.
Should we pause real quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
let's just do that.
We're gonna pause real quick, everybody, and then when we come back, I think maybe we'll start off with the questions.
Okay.
Start off with the questions. We'll get goatee out of Alex's backpack. And we'll start with the questions.
All right, we're gonna pause real quick.
See you soon.
And we're back.
We are indeed. Alex, turn your phone off.
Oh, silence the phone.
I know,
That's perfect timing.
I know. I was a ding.
Perfect timing. Right when we came back, my phone goes off. Okay, Matt, you had something you wanted to bring up.
I did want to bring up because I had to get the other bottle of wine, and
oh yes, we are drinking 2 bottles tonight.
In order to get Tom on the podcast, I had to get him.
Tom is
the retired cop that I'm trying to get on next week.
Police enforcement officer
And retired sheriff.
I don't know that you can use police and enforcement. I think it's either police officer or enforcement officer. I don't think you can do police enforcement.
I don't think so.
Can you?
Doesn't sound good.
No.
Does it matter?
But one thing, he was like, damn it, put my wife to sleep. Because we spent so much time on the Boomer episode talking about fucking what we were drinking, and it was boring to him.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was completely boring to him. So I don't think we should
have Tom the cop on the episode. Fuck that guy. I'm just kidding.
No. I don't think we should invest much time into the wine anymore. I mean, Mindy, hello. Please give us a recommendation on if you think it's boring or anything, because this is another opinion, and you've been giving us consistent opinions, and I know you're listening. Thank you very much.
Who is it?
Mindy.
Is this a woman, I'm assuming then?
It's a coworker of Alexander Dwayne Martin.
Fuck. Sorry, I got a little bit on the thing. Do you got to fucking...
It's all good. Just lick it up.
Okay.
Lick it up. No, I'm just joking.
I'm not gonna do it.
No, let me get a tissue.
Yeah, please. No, Mindy is one of my coworkers, and she listens to the pod. She has listened to, as far as I know, every one of our podcasts.
Okay.
And we've mentioned her on every one of our podcasts for the last 3-4 weeks.
Not right.
So it should be your wife then.
No. She's married. She's married to actually one of my other coworkers.
Oh, okay.
One of my other buddies.
Office romance.
But it was an interesting perspective, and I did mention to him how these are people that I'm not familiar with. So if we can all find common ground to start talking, it obviously we were all drinking, so therefore, wine was something that we carried on a little bit too long, maybe that episode, because we were all getting warmed up to each other.
Is this one Matthews?
I see.
You see?
Which one's Matthews?
The one he's pouring.
No, the one. No, I. This is yours. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Sorry.
just want to make sure because I like you, Alex, but I tongue him, not you.
Well, have another sip. Tell me how this wine is.
The other one was a little.
But that's another interesting perspective, and maybe it was too long on that episode, but.
But see, this one doesn't really have much. That's really flat.
Not as dry.
Because the other one was like, damn, that was like really tangy. This one doesn't.
It's more smooth. This one. It's more dry, actually. I would say compared.
More dry.
It's both. It
goes down really fast.
It's a wine. I mean, it's a red, but it's.
If I needed to, if I wanted to just drink something really fast, I would drink that fast. The other one, I would.
Oh yeah, that's way more dry.
The other one
I could tell by the scent.
The other one was like sour. It was just like you put it in your mouth and you were like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, well, I'll definitely
something to take into consideration, and we can talk to him.
Well, it's something I'm definitely going to bring up with him when he's on the podcast.
Well, and I definitely...
Brittany has met the guy.
He's a nice dude.
Love the
He's
guy.
awesome.
So, just so you guys know, those of you listening, I am starting to... I'm not quite ready to announce it yet, but I am starting to put up episodes on YouTube.
Correct.
And I think that will be our first real forum for feedback, because you can leave comments on YouTube channels. So... if you're listening to this on another podcast app and you want to interact with us here, coming up shortly in the future, you may be able to head over to the YouTube channel and leave some comments, because
maybe that way I'll listen to it, because honestly I don't even know how to listen to it.
And that's the thing, is Tom was like, I know how to do YouTube, but I don't know how to do playlists, and I had to go into the locker room while the dude was changing.
Yeah.
And I was like, Tom, fucking go to your Google Play, download it, I had to put it on his favorite, so it was easy access.
YouTube is easy. I don't like having to download a whole bunch of different apps.
It's tough.
Because he told me that, and I was like, that's why I honestly haven't listened to
any of it.
And
the big thing, people are like, what do I do to listen to your podcast? I'm like, well, iTunes or Google Play. I don't have either of those. You probably have Google Play if it's an Android.
Yeah, you definitely.
And then I have to show them.
You definitely have podcasts if you have an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So you have. So absolutely. So I've got 3 episodes up, I think. And
Do you?
Yeah, and I'm trying to get. I'm not quite to last week's, and then I'll have to do this week's.
And I understand it takes time, and I really want to deeply appreciate
it. Takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time.
Encoding the video for some reason.
Really? Yeah, that's weird because it's audio. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Because Dwayne and I would put hour and 30-minute sessions of us playing pool online. You know.
Yeah.
And it was easy. I would just upload it, leave, come back, and it was up. You know, but this obviously does take a little bit more time.
And coding the video takes a long time, and then uploading it takes a long time, and then it has to like process on YouTube. So yeah, I've been trying to do them like I'll like start one and like set it, and then like go do something else basically. So that's why I've only gotten 3 up. But anyway, wanted to put that out there because Mindy, your feedback has been amazing, and we've really taken it to heart.
It really has.
And I hope you've noticed some of the changes that we've implemented from your suggestions, but I think it would also be great to get some feedback from some other listeners.
Yes.
We did I showed you we had our biggest month yet last month.
Month was 50, a breakthrough for the catch up.
50 downloads. Yeah,
50. Yes, that's awesome.
I wanted to ask you when you went and
that was literally October, right?
That was the month of October.
So how many did you have in the month before that?
40. Well, the last one, the month before that, wasn't as
August
wasn't as good. And we also had a couple of weeks off that month. I went to Canada. You had a pool game.
I had a pool tournament. Yeah, that's September. Yeah. September was rough.
But the month before that was our best. Previously our best month at 45.
So you had 50.
45 and 50.
Guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm the wife. I don't pay attention to her.
That's a lot of listeners.
When they do this, I'm usually wanting to go to bed, and I'm usually asleep. So.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't sound like a lot, but really, for just starting out, I mean, 18. This is our 18th episode.
Yeah. There's a guy at work who does a lot of technical stuff, and what he was trying to do is like when you watch a YouTube video, they have those what did you call them? The watermarks.
Yes.
He was creating watermarks, and please explain to our viewers or listeners what watermarks is.
Well, so a watermark, a lot of the times you'll see it on a video or on an image. Basically, the original creator of content, it could be a photograph or a video, when they make their content, they can put a watermark on it, which is usually somewhere on the image or the video. It'll be kind of a transparent logo or something that says the branding basically of where this image came from or where this video came from, so that anybody else watching this, or if someone else was to take that photo or video and use it somewhere else, that watermark would still be there to show where the original content came from, so that it makes it harder for other people to take other people's content and use it as their own, because it's got a watermark on it. So that's what that is.
Because you guys have only been doing this for 3 or 4 months, haven't you? Then.
Well, we're on 18 episodes.
18 episodes, so that's over 3 months.
Yeah.
So good
and
for
I
you
freaking
guys,
love it. I really look forward to it every week.
Absolutely.
I even said that I was like, good for you for getting that many, because that's a lot of downloads.
And this gentleman, he was like, he does these watermarks and he makes his own, and people pay him to do this. And I was like, we had 50 downloads last month. And he was like, how long have you been doing it? I was like, well, 3 months. And he's like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Really?
Yeah. So good for us.
Absolutely.
I'm very pleased, and thank you to the listeners. Thank you.
All of you. Thank you so much.
You're the whole reason we're excited right now.
It wasn't too long ago that we would joke and we would say thank you for listening, all 3 of you, because we were so new. But now that 50 of you, I mean thank you so much.
5-0?
That's amazing. Yeah.
5-0?
Absolutely.
Damn.
I wanted to ask you.
Don't let my husband get a big head now.
Happens.
I wanted to ask you, when you went to go put the catch up on Tom's Android phone, was it difficult to find? I know when we first published,
I had to use the underscores.
You did have to use.
I had to use the underscores in Google Play. He had an Android phone, and the same with my phone, and the same, not the same with Billy's iPhone. He was able to find it on iTunes a lot easier. So I do believe that the YouTube will just push us that extra little bit. So I really do thank you for putting in the time, because I know it takes time.
It does take time, but I mean, it's great. It's good. I don't know. It's hard to explain. When we first started this, it was kind of a fun thing to do on Fridays, and it still is. But I guess maybe since we've gone this long, I've taken it a little bit more seriously. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit, and I do want to put this on podcast or on YouTube. I do want to see, how what kind of outreach we can get.
Yeah.
And just see, where it goes.
And I've noticed that you've been putting in a lot of effort to get these special guests on, so I would like to put in a little more effort that way as well. I want them to be interesting. A retired sheriff.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And his stories are really enjoyable.
Yeah, Matt's told me a couple and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you, Brittany, for being on.
Absolutely. Thank
absolutely.
you. I think that definitely having the special guests, definitely creates some unique content that people will want to listen to.
Well, because Matt told me that some of the guests you've had on and how different they are and everything, and I think that's awesome, because you even told me about one of them how I don't know if she listens or not, but he actually told me he came home and he was like, yeah, this girl just wasn't liking the things I was saying. And it's like, I know you're not going to always like what each other is saying, but he was like, she just kept shaking her head at me. And it's like...
Laura.
And my mom...
Sorry, Laura, if you're listening, but it's true. You did it.
Because here's the thing, though, is, I had no problem with her opinion, but you'll be one of those people out in that world where we don't like you due to the fact that you just think that you're like, you just don't know better. And
I like you, Laura. I enjoyed the podcast. I enjoyed your input.
You're not letting me finish my sentence. You guys are both making it, because I'm not trying to down the person.
Sorry, please continue.
But what I'm trying to say, though, is that she's one of those people that a lot of people out there where they're only so one-sided. And I think she was being a little bit more one-sided instead of being like, obviously what you were saying to her in her mind was like, okay, this is kind of crazy, because like you said, you can never be really prepared to have a kid, because I agree with that. But at the same time,
she did have a child.
Because you have no problem, I have no problem with your opinion, but when you're shaking your head at someone else basically saying that you don't approve, that's where I'm like, okay, that's not right. Because obviously you might have an opinion with something. I have no problem with that, but I don't think you should be disapproving of it.
I don't think that's... There wasn't any kind of negativity,
and I didn't sense much negativity. I think what the vibe I was getting, if we can talk hippie for a minute, but or just for that sentence. Neil was also, and that episode was called The Dirty 30.
Yes.
And Neil was also on there, and we were asking him about his 30th birthday.
Yeah.
So it was longtime friends that have known each other since high school, and then, in her perspective, there was this guy who is new and, only knows Alex, basically. I just felt like the fourth wheel in this case, because there was 3 other people in the room.
But it was...
I'm sorry you felt that way.
It's okay, because it's fine, because you didn't even notice. And maybe she didn't notice, and maybe it was subconscious.
No, I thought about it, especially while the three of us were talking.
It was great.
But
we enjoyed the conversation.
I thought you did such a good job of continuing to make input.
Just pass it on. It's all good.
And I apologize if you felt anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I'm not trying to say that.
She definitely didn't mean anything like that.
I commented on something when I got home to Brittany. She was shaking her head. When I mentioned something,
but that's what I'm saying is I'm not saying that what she did was bad, because like I said, we all have a right to opinions. But like I said, though, it'd be like if you said that to me, and I'd be like, that'd be me going like, no, you just don't know better.
You're wrong.
That's why I was like, sorry, but you shouldn't. But everyone has their own opinion,
and everyone has different levels of ego that they have in their own mind, and I don't know what the case was. All I know is we were trying to, and that's the beauty about the podcast, is we try to continue conversation and move past certain things, I'm not just going to call her out and be like, why are you shaking your head, yo? Like that would make for bad conversation and bad vibes, and, we're just not about that on the podcast.
I'm just saying, though, is that if that, like, it's like I've told him that is if that happened to me, I have no, because like I've actually had a client who sat in my chair who used to be a Marine, and my sister's a Marine who's I think 25 years old now, and I'm very proud of her. She's a very good Marine. They wanted her to be a sniper. You don't know many women who are snipers. She's very good at what she does.
She's hardcore.
And when this guy sat in my chair and I found out he was a Marine because I think he had a hat on, I said, oh, I'm like, you're a Marine. I'm like, the few, the proud. And he goes, yeah. And I said, my sister's a Marine. and this guy's older, and not saying that all because you're older that you're against, because some men still don't think women should be in the military. That's
True.
some men, not all, but
True.
some. And I mean, me and him were doing good, but as soon as I said my sister was a Marine, he literally, I could see him shutting down. You could tell he disapproved of it. And it's like, sorry, but my sister can kick so many people's asses. Don't even judge her for that. It's like, she does her job. She loves what she do. You should not judge her by that.
Now, there's
But the nice thing, though, is that even though he was like that with me, I still got it done.
you were able to continue.
I got done with the haircut, and I let him left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, once
because
he left,
he's there for the haircut.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Laura was there for the podcast. We
Yeah.
weren't there to make a connection and call each other next week. You know, you're there for a reason. Same
Yeah.
thing with the haircut. So you got it done. You were able to move
Like
past.
I said, we had our own opinions, but I'm not gonna judge you for, because it's your opinion. Do I approve of it? Of course not, because you shouldn't be judging someone on that when you don't know their story.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair.
And Laura,
I
if you're
just-
listening, no negative vibes, no
I know,
nothing.
and I don't
You're
want-
a great
I was gonna
person.
say, I don't want-
enjoyed having you on
I was
the
gonna say, I don't
podcast.
want her thinking that I thought you only thought negative of her, because that wasn't the fact. It's just,
No, we had a great podcast that week. In fact, there was a lot of downloads that week.
yeah.
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 Absolutely. Okay.
Sorry.
So sorry, I just didn't want to seem like I was being rude or anything, because that wasn't my
No.
intent.
No,
so.
that
no,
didn't
no.
come off that way at all.
Because I swear
Definitely
I'm
not.
And that's
not-
the beauty
'cause
about this,
I
is
didn't-
it's all great
Okay.
conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, I can't judge someone when I didn't see the conversation. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even hear it. So, I mean, I just, from what I heard, because it's crazy when you hear
And we
different...
were drinking, maybe she doesn't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
People
I
are
mean,
very
yeah.
opinionated when they drink, you know? Who knows?
I know
don't
I
know.
am.
But-
Who knows?
So anyway,
oh, Alex,
so...
you're needy.
Yeah, all the time.
Alex is so needy.
And with that, I want to bring us to one of our more regular staples of the podcast, where we come up with, mostly Matt, because I'm terrible at it.
I'm great at coming up with questions.
We come up with questions to ask
I don't listen to your podcast, so I have no idea.
the other attendees here at the podcast and have them answer. So, Matt, why don't you start us off? I see you have a great piece of paper with some amazing questions ready to ask.
That's the piece of paper. This week is a little different. These are questions, but they're more...
I have a question. I just thought of one. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, what is it?
No. We'll go.
Is it rapid fire?
We'll do me last. It's not
No, we'll do
it's
you
not
first.
rapid
We'll
fire.
do you first because it's just one.
You do me first. Okay. Well, so for those of you listening, this Friday, the Friday we're recording on, is the Friday after Halloween. And so I want to ask both Matt and Brittany, what do you think is your favorite memory of Halloween?
Oh.
Go ahead. You got it.
I've actually told this to Matt many, many times. So the
I know the story. Yeah.
because I don't even know if because my parents, I can't really remember them much together because they are divorced, but one of the biggest things I loved about my mom growing up is that she actually would let us ditch school. Most parents don't let you do that.
On Halloween?
Well, so this is what happened is that...
On a regular basis?
The day after.
Okay.
But this is what would happen though, is we'd go trick-or-treating, whatever, and we would come home and we always watch Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
And it was usually on like ABC
Bomb-ass
or Disney
movie.
or
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
like that.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was on one of those channels, and I remember we'd watch it, and it'd be like, we wouldn't go to bed till like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I remember just watching this movie every year, and literally, I still remember one of them, though, is, I think it was in elementary school, and I remember going like, crap, we have to go to school tomorrow, and we're like, man, we really don't want to go, and she goes, oh, we can all, she goes, you guys can all skip school tomorrow. She goes, it's Halloween, let's just miss the whole day tomorrow, and literally, all of us got to skip school.
Respected Donna.
And I mean, and that was the thing. Well, because that was the thing that was so cool about my mom, though, is that if we had a good excuse, because most parents obviously don't let you just ditch school. My mom actually, because I struggled in high school, you could only miss so many days every year. Well, I was only allowed to miss 10 for each semester. As long as I told my mom why I was missing, I was allowed to miss school. But yeah, that was probably one of the best memories I had for Halloween, was knowing that we got to, if we wanted to,
the next day was off.
we could ditch it if we, because if it's a Saturday, whatever, if it's a Sunday, whatever, but if it's, the next day is a school day, we got to have it off, and I love that, knowing that we got to not worry about what time to go to bed. We got to trick or treat, watch Hocus Pocus, greatest movie ever, be with the family, and then ditch the next day just to be with each other.
That's awesome.
I loved it.
That's awesome.
Best one.
Matthew?
Mine was, and I mentioned the story multiple times because I think Halloween is kind of falling off the go out of your way to do list. You know what I'm saying?
When you get older, you mean?
When you get
it's
older, tough. I don't think
especially
as many kids are doing trick-or-treating anymore with all these crazy fucks out
They
there.
do trunk-or-treating. It's kind of weird to me.
I was gonna say just
I hope they are.
Being an adult and having it land, like, at least for me, working Monday through Friday, having it land on a Wednesday, I'm like,
oh
fuck.
yeah.
You know, I gotta work the next day.
Yeah. What'd you do? Watch Scream. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
My favorite memory was I think people used to get, or at least maybe where I was in Fairfax Station, Virginia. It was less than 20 minutes away from D.C. downtown, so real close. My neighbor or my whole neighborhood would just deck out. You know, okay, but my neighbor was fucking awesome, all right? Now, I remember this as a kid. It was right when M&M Minis came out. Oh. You know how they had
the tubes.
The tubes.
They were in the little tubes, yep.
And they had the small kitty tubes, and they had the fucking man-size, big-ass tubes.
I think I remember you telling me this.
So he would give out full-size Snickers, full-size M&M Mini
Your
tubes.
Neighbor?
My neighbor. But...
Right next door. Ready to go.
Right next door. And he would have the webs in the trees, the lights in the background, the smoke machines, and he had a coffin in the front, you know, or by the sidewalk to get to the house. And I don't know whether there was a walkie-talkie or I don't know, but every time kids came up, it was a live person in there, and he'd go, you know, there's a mummy in there, and he'd scare everybody. And then to get your candy, you had to pass it was like a werewolf. It was this guy, had long extensions on his arms. They were dragging on the floor, making all these crazy noises, you know, by the front door. And as a kid, you're like, oh! You know, especially with the lights and the effects and stuff. And you had to pass him to get your candy. But there was this big-ass delicious bowl of fucking candy with full Snickers, full whatever. And you could do handfuls. You could do everything you wanted to, you know, with that bowl.
Yeah.
But man, that was my favorite house to go to because they went so hard. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It was, and the costumes weren't cheap. They weren't like just a mask with ripped jeans. They were fucking all out, like hairy arms, dragging on the floor, sound effects, you know, music, lights, mist, the whole deal. And it was like individual. Like,
yeah.
Hey, we got 4 kids coming up to you right now. Dude in a coffin you're talking to. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go! You know, it'd go out of your way to scare you as you were coming up. Not like timing or anything like that you can set. It was all organic. It was beautiful. And I appreciate that to this day.
In high school, I had a friend of mine whose family, Mitch Peterson, his family was super amazing. His mom and dad, he had a little brother, but we used to hang out over at their house all the time, and it was just really, really, they were super cool parents and a really good family. But one year, you made me think of this. One year, a few of us, Mitch and his friends, helped them out with trick-or-treaters, and my job was super fun. I got to sit in this chair on the front porch. I was all dressed up like like a skeleton, but I had like a hood on, like almost like Death, you know. Mm-hmm. I had a hood on and like the gloves, like it made me look, or no, they weren't gloves. Sorry, they were actual like plastic skeleton hands, but I was like holding them.
Oh,
like,
I got you.
Inside the robe.
The sleeves. Yeah.
So if you were looking at me from the outside, I'm sitting in this chair, I'm sitting super still. I look like a dummy skeleton, like I'm not real, and I just had to sit as still as possible. And then my role was the kids would come up after they got through like some other stuff. They'd come up to the deck, and I had the bowl of candy sitting on my lap, and I should sit there as still as possible until right when they reached their hands in the candy bowl, and then I did the just scared the shit out of these little kids.
And that's awesome, because when you're on the street going by the houses, you hear those screams in the distance. That's the house you want to go to. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
No, that's usually the house. The thing is, you probably don't see that anymore. Too many kids freak out, and parents worry too much, and they're like, "Oh my god."
People drugging the fucking candy anymore. What happened?
Jesus.
What happened?
So, but my favorite memory of Halloween would probably have to be, off the top of my head, there might be one that I'm not thinking of, but the one off the top of my head, excuse me, is, I don't remember what grade I was in. It must have been like 3rd grade, something like that. But I went to this private school in downtown Spokane that's not there anymore. And because it was a private school, one of my friends, he was from a fortunate family, wealthy family, however you want to say that. But this year we wanted to dress up as secret agents, and my mom went all out. She found it lined up perfectly. Mr. Tux, you know that store? Mm-hmm. Mr. Tux, you know what I'm talking about? They had a clearance sale, and she was able to find me a like super cheap tuxedo to wear as my like secret agent costume.
Awesome.
So I looked fly.
Damn.
Going door to door, and we had these like fake, like guns as our like secret agent guns or whatever. And because I was hanging out with my friend who was from a fortunate family, we were trick-or-treating in those rich neighborhoods where, like you said, every fucking door was a full-size Snicker bar.
Yeah.
Was just full-size everything. So that year I came home with the biggest haul of these huge-ass fucking candy bars.
Yes.
And, so that was fun as hell.
That's awesome.
You don't like the fun size. No one likes the fun size.
No one likes the fun size.
Those cheap little one single bites. You gotta undo the wrapper for one bite.
You know what's funny? Well, no, I kind of like those because then then you do like the Snicker, and then immediately after you do like the Three Musketeer. You're like, fuck yeah! You're just like, you know what I mean?
No, back in the day, you'd have a full Three Musketeer, a full Snicker, and then a whole tube of M&M minis,
and then a full Twix.
Yeah, and then the next day throw up all day. Jeez.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Halloween. You felt sick by the end of it.
Absolutely. So, I just want to say really quick before we move on to Matt's question, because we are getting over time. What was funny is last Sunday, the Sunday before Halloween, I went over to my mom's house to have dinner, and they had a big bag of candy sitting on the counter. I'm like, oh, you getting ready for the trick-or-treaters this year? She's like, no. We're actually gonna turn off the light. We're just gonna hang out and watch a movie and then go to bed. I'm like, so you just bought some candy for yourself? She was like, yeah, that was bad planning on my part.
That's funny. I bought a bag of candy, but now I'm not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so,
awesome.
Matt, why don't you tell us your first question?
These might end up being rapid fire here, but my theme of tonight is the first memory of.
Oh, great.
I thought this was a kind of a
No,
nice
this will
little
be
twist.
interesting, though. This will see what we remember.
First memory of?
First memory of. Yeah, so...
you always feel old sometimes with some of these things.
So is this like that's the topic, and then you have like several questions?
Yes.
First memory of this person? Okay.
First memory of each other. So...
Well, I'm interested now in this.
Brittany, what was your first memory of Alex?
Ooh.
And myself?
Ooh, I like this.
Isn't this fun?
So
Yeah.
Alex was pretty easy. He was just because I met them both through Petco. Alex, I actually met him through more with Matt. So I just remember him being a goofball. Matt actually.
Me being a goofball?
Yeah, but honestly, I just remember I knew Alex, but I remember Matt more just because he's the one who I married.
Hey, I was a department manager, lady.
Oh, he was my boss,
I'm not trying to be rude. It's just when you marry the man of who you're going to be with for the rest of life, I mean, literally...
Everybody else just fades out.
It does, because I mean, I will still, to this day, literally this is what happened when I met Matthew, was...
She doesn't want to admit that she thought I was cute. No. I'm just kidding. I knew that always happens. Every time I make that joke to a couple, the wife is always just like, nah.
Maybe you shouldn't do that joke anymore. Maybe I should tell you something.
No, it's funny every time. That's why I do it.
No. It was actually mine and Matt's first day working at Petco. I was a dog bather. He was a customer advisor, and he was at the register that day, and I actually had this girl named Sarah. She was sitting next to me, and I was at the countertop doing like appointments or whatever, and it was, I mean, like I said, it was my first day, and I look up and I see him at the register, and I think someone just got done, and he sees me, and all I remember is him waving, and I waved back, and I remember going like, I had one of those faces of like, who is this crazy person? I'll keep waving because. And that's what was even funny is the girl next to me, Sarah, one of the employees, she goes, do you even know him? And I was like, no. I'm like, but I can't be rude. This is an employee. Like, I've got to work with this guy. I don't want to be an ass. And so I remember just going like, oh, who is this person?
Wait,
like,
I was waving?
No, Matt was.
Oh, okay.
And
this turned into the first time. I get it.
First time I ever met him. But
Yeah, you were rapid fire.
But literally the first time I talked to him was literally
forgettable.
The first time I talked to him was literally the next day. But I'll never forget that because I'll tell that to our kids on how did you meet your father? Well, your father was the one who actually negotiated first. He was the one who first waved to me, and then I was the first one to say, "Oh, do you work here?" Because I saw him the next day getting dog food for Dixon.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And all I remember after that was because I remember going like, "Oh, this guy's cute. He's got blue eyes." I'm like, "He's attractive." And I remember just going like, "Oh, do you work?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And I was like, "Oh, awesome." And I remember going like, and I knew my face was so beat red because I remember going in. I'm like, "Is my face red?" And they're like, "Yeah, why?" And I'm like, "I just talked to the most attractive guy ever." And my face was so hot. So hot. So I would never
Matt's
forget
cheeks are getting a little red right now. He's blushing a little bit.
He is.
I don't blush, no.
Yeah,
You
that's
are blushing.
definitely what's happening.
You're
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe you're a little flushed from the alcohol, but we're gonna say you're blushing for
Yeah.
compliments.
You're a little,
Yeah, I feel normal. Like I just drank a bottle of wine.
Okay, so Matt.
Awesome.
No, so these are obviously gonna be pretty similar because we all met each other at the
At
same
Petco.
the same store.
Yeah, but I thought it would be interesting.
But yeah, no, I like it. Matt, why don't you go ahead and start off with me, and then we can forget about that and go to Brittany.
Well, real quick, you were my boss. Anyway, Brittany. No, I'm just joking. No, I remember it the first night I worked with you. It was a Sunday.
Was it really?
Yes, we had.
So it was a freight night.
It was a freight night, dog food night.
Yeah.
And
My favorite freight night.
Dave and Aaron, who is the cashier up front, is married to an awesome man, Dave. Dave and I would just bullshit and toss dog food at each other to get it on the shelf. And
I like Dave.
And Dave was a really good guy, and we had a system to how we did the freight night on Sundays.
Oh.
And then Alex came in.
I fucked it all up.
And we never used carts. We always packed 2 on the shoulder to the shelf, boom, or 2 on the shoulder to the cart for overstock, boom. And then Alex came along, and he started getting carts. And I remember looking at Dave, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And you were like, just go with it. And Dave was like...
I don't remember this at all.
He was like, this guy's really puffing his chest out a little bit, huh?
Of course Dave would say that.
And I was like, I mean, he's just got a different way. He's just got a different system.
You're like, it's
but
my
I'm not...
manager, I have to be nice to him.
And I said, I'm not using that cart. And you were like, oh, give it time.
I said that?
Yeah.
Really?
You're something like that. Something along the lines of, it's more efficient this way. I don't know exactly verbatim.
I like the way you said it that I said it better.
Anyway, I never ended up using the cart that night. And you did, and you were like, hey Matt, yeah, this is pretty easy here, isn't it? And you were pushing the cart with like 4 or 5 bags in it as I was carrying it on my shoulder. Anyway, that was one of my first memories.
Did you end up ever using the cars? I don't remember.
No.
No, and actually,
Hell no.
Never used them?
Never used the carts.
Did I stop using them or did I keep using them?
You kept using the carts.
No,
Damn
okay,
right.
So I
And
will
Dave
say one of the
didn't
best
use the
memories
cards.
with Alex is whenever you and me, after I would close the salon, I think it was on Sundays, because I would look forward to, this is how I got to know Matt, was every Sunday after I closed, because we closed like an hour or 2 hours early before Petco officially, the whole store closed.
The horse store closed.
Yeah.
I would always
The
go
horse
and
store.
Yeah, I said that too. The horse store closed.
so I would actually go and talk to Matt, and I actually remember this is Alex, since Alex usually worked with you, he would be like, I remember the first time I remember him actually going like, oh, you're here, and he's like, okay, whatever, like, he did not care that, he was like, hey, as long as Matthew's doing his job, you guys can keep talking, because I would just
Facing the aisles
I
and
literally would just walk with Matt through the whole store, him doing his job, and I would chit chat, and that's actually how I got to know him. And Alex did not care, and that was the coolest thing, is that you were so laid back. You weren't just like, you need to leave. You were just like, as long as you get your job done, because you're like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, just chatting and catching up, and you're like, whatever. No. And that was the coolest part about you. You're very laid back.
Alex is very laid back.
When it comes to managing, I've had those managers that want to look over your shoulder and like make sure that you are like 100% maximizing your time and shit. And it's stressful. It causes stress on the employees when you do that, and it makes work not enjoyable. I mean, you're already there against your will, right? Maybe some people want to work at Petco and stock dog food, but I would say 90% of the people that are there doing that aren't doing it by choice. They're doing it because they have to pay their rent and shit. Uh-huh. So it's like, man, as long as you're not making me look bad, in the end, if the GM comes in the next day and he's not up on my ass about shit, then I don't care.
Yes.
Then you did your job, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And for Brittany, I slightly remember waving. A very respectable way of managing, by the way.
Thank you.
Don't want to just discredit that, but I know we're short on time.
No, because he really accepted our relationship really well, though.
You were the only one out of anyone who accepted us dating. Anyway.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Everyone was super against it. It was fucking
lot of the managers, one of the managers, he knows I won't even talk to her because she actually was against us. It was pretty sad, and it's like...
after I got there weren't any female managers.
Yeah, you took over. Anyway...
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't really remember waving. I waved at everybody. But I do remember you, when I had dog food, saying, oh, hey, you work here. And I was like, damn, this girl's cute. And you were like, oh, yeah, we'll talk to you later. And I was like, oh, wow, she's real cute.
Well, at least I know what he thinks, because he's never told me this memory.
And then I remember stalking, and stalking, not you, but the food.
That was my first thought.
I remember stalking the food, on the shelves. Let's make this clear. And you would stop off and talk to me. But I remember before we started hanging out, we were flirting quite a bit, and I was facing leashes. And Brittany was acting up, and I was like, oh boy, you're really being mouthy. Or something like that. I don't remember what it is. Oh, geez, yeah, keep it up, or something like that. She was like, what are you gonna do? Spank me?
Oh, I remember this.
And I make fun of this. Yeah, this was before we started,
actually, I remember
dating.
This. No, I remember.
And I was like, I'm gonna fuck this chick. That's all I thought. I was like, I'm gonna bone this
invitation.
Yeah.
No, because I remember this because I think you were getting crickets or something, and I think I was mouthing off to you or something like that, and you're like, and then that's when you said I
was like, keep it up.
Yeah, and then I was like, what are you gonna do? Because
what are you gonna do?
Because when we first met, I actually felt the connection between us. Like I felt it right at in my my stomach area. Like I could
diaphragm.
Whatever you want to
nice.
Call it. I actually felt a connection between us, but I kept refusing it. But I remember this whole thing because we started flirting. Like I really was attracted to him, and part of my friendship, I knew that after that happened, I remember telling people, I go, I might not wind up with him. I go, but I know I'm gonna screw him, and everyone's like, geez, Brittany, and I was like, I never thought I would say that. I go, I'm gonna be with this man, even if we don't get married or be in a relationship. I go, I'm gonna be with this man, and like all my friends thought I was so crazy because I was never like that, but with him, I felt a connection, but I kept refusing it because I was going to be moving, and I was like, well, at least do that. I'll have the fun with him. I just won't do all the other stuff with him, and wind up marrying the man.
Yeah, once you said that, I was like, ooh, I need to hang out with her.
And he got condoms that night, though. He even told me that.
I did actually get condoms that night.
Yeah, you're like getting ready. You're like, shit, I'm going to need some of these.
I have a infant bladder, but please start with Brittany. No. Bathroom's in the other room. I can straight up listen.
Oh, right. But, my memory.
Your memory of Brittany as I listen.
I'm interested about this.
Okay, so my first memory of Brittany. I mean, it's hard to pick out the specific day, obviously, but so for those of you who don't know, I worked for Petco for 4 years. And I started working for Petco at the Valley Petco location.
Okay.
And then I transferred to the South Hill location for a while. And then I transferred back to the Valley location. And then I was transferred. None of these were by choice, by the way. Well, I take it back. No, I can't remember. I can't remember why I transferred to the South Hill Petco. Honestly, I know that I started as an associate at the Valley. I became a manager at the Valley. Then I became a manager at the South Hill Petco, and
get to the point.
And I don't remember exactly why. Sorry, I have to. This is all leading up.
I'm just joking.
And then I came back to the Valley specifically because Jerry, the guy that I work with, my best bud, he was the assistant store manager at the South Hill Petco, and we were not vibing very well as far as like being friends and him being my boss. And so I transferred back to the Valley Petco, and then I transferred to the South Hill Coeur d'Alene Petco. That was too long. You're right. It didn't matter in the end. After I said it all, I was like, none of this matters. And then I transferred to the Coeur d'Alene Petco, and you were, I want to say you were already a groomer when I got there.
Yeah, I was just a dog bather. I didn't do anything else.
Okay, so sorry, you were a bather when I got there. So I didn't particularly interact with the grooming salon very much.
You didn't talk to any of them.
No, not at first. Mm-mm. Then eventually, I
would go in there and BS.
I'd go in there and bullshit, exactly, waste time. But yeah, you were in there, and I saw you, and that was definitely the first time.
I know, that sounds really weird. I was like, oh,
damn, that's weird.
I was like, please don't say. Well, I kept thinking,
you had that whole 5 minutes to lead up to that, and that's what you.
Well, because it made me nervous. Because I was like, okay, Matthew's here. You better watch what you say, because Matt can kick your.
Well, no.
I was like, what is he gonna
say? No, nothing weird. I don't remember. I can't remember what our first conversation was until after you guys started hanging out.
Well, it was probably with Lauren, and Lauren was probably like, I fucking hate that bitch.
That's
No, not cool. All right.
Well, no, I don't.
Took it too far. Sorry.
No, you didn't take it too far. Yes, okay, fucking Lauren didn't like you. Whatever. I never
Is that the truth?
That is the truth.
At least we know.
Oh,
I always knew that though.
She did not.
Did she ever tell you why?
Alex
because I never
dated Lauren for a few
years. She did tell me why, but I don't remember now.
Probably because you were too positive. Too happy.
Because that's the thing though, is I always have one job where one woman does not like me. I'm not, no joke. I've always had, but I've learned how to accept it because
it wasn't just her. She had her little fucking.
It wasn't just her.
It was from Crystal.
Her Crystal.
Clique.
Oh yeah, Crystal.
Yeah, she had her clique. That was the word I was looking for. She had her clique with Crystal. She was Crystal's little buddy.
Well, I think the hard thing was at Petco, a lot of people didn't accept mine. A lot of people were against me and Matt being together. And now we're married and we're so happy.
Dude, I was BSing with Lauren and Crystal on a daily, dude. I would spend like 30 minutes in there just fucking wasting time.
Yeah.
And then once I started dating Brittany, I was like, yo!
And they were just like...
And they were like, whoa, don't know this guy.
Because even some of his friends
wouldn't
talk to me.
Damn.
Some of his friends would ignore me. I'd be right in front of them trying to have a conversation. They would ignore me.
Yeah, it was very weird.
She talked shit, but I never... she talks shit about fucking everything.
Well, I appreciate that you didn't, because I said, I
Alex truly enjoyed it.
Well, because I even told Matt, I said, I never said that she was, I never said anything mean to her. I mean, in my mind, I want to be friends with everyone. I don't expect us to always agree with everything, but if we're walking together, I want us to get along. And I just, to this day, I was like, I didn't do anything wrong.
And I've never been one of those people, that's like, oh, my friend or my girlfriend doesn't like someone, so I automatically don't like them.
Respect.
Exactly. It's always about my own opinion, and you never did anything, in my opinion, to warrant, not liking you.
Disapproval or...
Exactly.
And that's one thing, that's a quality I actually love about Brittany, is she will give anyone and everyone, regardless of what they hear, or she hears about them, the benefit of the doubt. She'll go into any relationship open-minded, and it's always the other person that decides to block it off.
Well, yeah, for me, why? Just because, why should I limit my
and that's
friendship?
That's the truth. Not choosing sides because it was my girlfriend or my wife against whoever. It's...
Well, that's the thing.
Been with you for 6 years and haven't seen any reason for you to go into something with a negative.
Well, because some people say with divorces, they're like, oh, you should choose a side. what if the divorce is nice and friendly? I want to be friends with both. I don't want to choose.
I will brag though that I definitely heard at one time that I was like one of, if not the one friend of yours that she likes. I've heard it.
At that job, yes.
Oh yeah, because at that time when everyone was turning their shoulder, when everyone was turning the you know, cold shoulder or whatever.
It was you, Dave, Deborah, and Aaron were the only ones
yeah,
who accepted.
Dave was super chill.
Well,
but dude, even Taylor and Michael,
they wouldn't acknowledge me.
They were weird too.
Dude, and I didn't know it because they would interact with her and then interact with me at separate times. And then there was one time where Taylor and I were just chilling, and then Crystal and fucking Lauren were there. And not to gossip or anything, I feel like I'm fucking drama.
Well, this is years ago. Who cares?
But Taylor was chill with me, and then Brittany came up, you know, and we did our thing, you know, like, hey. And then Taylor was like, did what they did, you know, conform to... In
general,
consensus.
Dave and Deborah, I think they already knew that you and me were going to wind up together because I think one of them kept.
Oh, Dave and Aaron, yeah.
I mean, no, but because I talked to Aaron, but no, Dave and Deborah though they kept going like I could tell that they knew that we were going to get together, but I remember to Deborah, I'm like, we're not going to get together. This is not going to happen. I'm like, I'm moving. I want to be single.
Super chill, super open minded. You know, that's the consistency about all these people. So. We're going to be very crucial on who you date next. Alex.
I know, when he told me that you were with Lauren, I told him, I said, honestly, I'm not happy about it. I go, but if you guys got married, I go... He
didn't think I'd be able to get with her.
No, that's not what I said.
True.
That's not what I said.
We were playing pool, and I was talking about Lauren, and you were like, you think you got a shot with her? And I was like, oh, yeah. And you were like, all right. You were genuinely surprised.
He told me why you only wanted to be with her anyways, and I'm not going to say because it's not
because of them titties, boy.
Exactly.
That's the first thing that everyone knows.
But let me get to this fact, though.
That woman?
That woman had some
but when Matt told me that you were with her, all I kept thinking was like, great, this girl who does not like me, and you're with her, and I kept going like, this sucks. But I looked at Matt, and I even said, if he does wind up marrying her because it sounded like you really liked her, I said, I will respect it. I go, I don't have to like her, but I respect it because I like you. Because I knew you're a good person at heart. But all I thought was like, if something broke up, honestly, in my mind, I thought it would be her fault. Because from what I've seen with the way she treated me and the way you treated me, you just seemed like a really nice person that I was like, okay, if something did dissolve, I think I even said this to Matt. I said, it wouldn't be Alex. I'm like, sorry, but Alex is a very nice guy. I'm like, he's sincerely he's a gentleman.
For sure. And I've mentioned this multiple times on the podcast. And please, as a female, voice your own opinion here. I say, Alex is a motherfucking
feel obligated to answer that
question. Alex, people would be lucky to date this dude because he's so chill, so open-minded. You know?
Well, he is on
If I was gay, he'd be my first choice. Boom.
Damn straight.
Well, if you want an accent, he can do the Scottish pretty well, so.
Yeah! You remember. When's the last time I did the Scottish around you?
Like 2 times before the last time you were here or something like that.
Okay.
Right. So like Coeur d'Alene.
Us women love our Scottish, love our accents and everything.
All right, I gotta bring that out more, apparently.
But seriously, give me your honest opinion. This dude is a catch, right?
He's a catch. I'm not gonna say he's attractive because I don't see him like that. I see him as a really nice friend, but but he is a really sweetheart. That any woman who gets him is because I know he's
gonna be lucky.
Because
you heard it first here, ladies. Unattractive, but definitely a catch.
I'm married. I just don't feel like that's
right. Oh boy! And that leads us to our next question.
I am happy with my marriage. I swear.
First memory of, and the whole reason I had this is I had a little emotional episode last night.
Last night?
Which is when I was coming up with these questions. Yeah, Brittany was.
You had an emotional episode while you're coming up for questions?
I did.
He cried.
With questions?
I cried a little bit, but he started crying because it hit him.
Whoa, do we want to do this?
We do.
Okay.
Because it would mean a lot to me, and it's the whole reason I presented this, because I wanted to get everybody's feedback on it. It's your first memory of Dixon.
Oh,
The
man.
first memory of him is I was actually walking at Petco and you brought him in to show him off. That's the memory I have of him.
Was that the time I got that dog food? Was he with me?
No, it was you. Literally, I think you were just coming in to visit and just show him off. But
Sorry.
that was it. It was simple as that.
I want to pause real quick. Can you give a background on who this Dixon is to all of our listeners?
Oh yes.
Oh, Dixon was my first dog ever, and I got very lucky with him. He was so easy. He was middle to back of the pack dog, low level energy, and that means very easy to direct and correct, and perfect when greeting dogs with high levels of energy, perfect walking, perfect passing dogs, perfect putting on backpacks and shoes and, you know, those mittens and stuff. Perfect dog. Dixon was the perfect dog, period. And I'm not just saying that because everyone says that, oh, my dog's the best. No, Dixon was so easy to help and correct and to be an example for other dogs that were having problems to help rehab. So there's the background on Dixon.
But yeah, that's that memory, and then the other one would be when we started actually, I think we gained to know each other, and I came to your house, and then I actually met him, and I loved him a little bit. But yeah, the biggest memory would be you brought him in, I think just to show everyone who he was, and I remember seeing him. And one of the girls was like, wow, that's a good-looking coonhound. And I was like, really? And they're like, for the age she just said and the look, she was like, that's impressive on how well he looked. And I was okay.
He was 10 when you met him.
Well, because I've never met a coonhound. I've met beagles, but never a coonhound. I mean, it was a black and tan coonhound, and he was a beautiful dog. Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest memory of him.
And if you had him in a room and another dog that was high-level energy, just crazy shaking all over the place, Dixon would look over, oh, that dog's crazy, he would sniff and then come back right to my side and then just look at me for direction. That's the kind of dog he was, regardless of age. He did that at 2 years old. I mean, no shit. Please, Alex.
You know, if I'm being completely honest, I don't remember my very first memory of Dixon. I mean, obviously it was at your apartment. You know, the first time that I came over to your apartment is when the first time I met Dixon. But I don't remember, you know, that nothing stands out to me about that memory. I will talk about the memory that does stand out to me with Dixon and you. And I've talked about this before. But one time we came back from the bar, probably from the corner bar, because I was fucking wasted.
Yes, we were.
You were too.
I probably remember that because he probably woke me up, was in the mood, and I was like, get off me.
No,
I was asleep.
I'm not positive that you were there.
I think it was before your time.
Yeah, I'm not positive that you were there then. But we had picked up, you either had a Red Baron ready to go, or we had picked up a Red Baron. Because I know sometimes we'd stop off at Winco.
Oh, yeah.
And pick up a pizza.
RBP, Red Baron Pizza, and we would drink PBR.
A couple of times we got like the Winco pizza.
Oh yeah, because it was right next door.
Right. But anyway, it was you were like adamant. You were like, this dog does not get distracted, and I was like, fuck you. I can distract this dog. Any dog can be distracted. I'm gonna start talking drunk because that's kind of how I was. Any dog can be distracted. I can do. He's not. And you were like, whatever, dude, try it. And so you were standing in front of Dixon on his dog bed, and I was several feet away, and I was just trying. I was, Dixon, come here, come on, boy, just come on. Wait, sorry, let me do that drunk. Dixon, hey, come on, boy, just come over here.
It's a good boy.
Yeah, exactly. And he was just staring at me, and you were just standing in front of him, and he would look at you, and he'd look at me, and he'd look at you, and he'd look at me. And I was just come on. And he just fucking would not move.
He knew.
Just fucking stood there, just, you know, like he wanted to, but he kept looking at you. And you were just like, fucking,
Nope.
And they'd look at me, and they'd look at you.
He's like, Daddy's okay? Nope, okay. I'm just going to look at him, but I'm not going to go.
So I don't remember the specific first memory, but that's my the memory that stands out the most about Dixon.
And that's that direction. And that's that follower position I'm talking about. When he's looking at me, he's looking for direction. Should I go over there? No, you don't want me to? Okay. So it's not that the dog is like unhappy or anything like that. It's
sure.
just it's he knows his position in the pack and he knows who to look for direction, and I'm not giving him the go ahead, so he therefore stays calm. Now with Pete, he would come up to you, so therefore I have to correct because he's middle of the pack, happy-go-lucky, middle energy, like middle to high level energy, right? So he gets excited when you come over, so therefore I have to disagree. Because I don't want him jumping on people and he's a pit bull. These things can develop later on. Yeah. But anyway, so that's to clarify more so the position of Dixon's role in the pack.
Yep.
Yeah. Mine, of course, was my first memory, of course, was when I got him. And I didn't realize anything at the time. So I go there. Let's wrap it up. I go there and I'm like, yo, is this dog Dixon still here? And they're like, oh, let me type it in the computer. Oh, yeah, he's out for his walk right now. So I'm like, okay, can I meet him? Yeah, go look for him. He's out here in the park. And the park was just stone's throw away. So I walk out in the park and I see this guy walking him and I'm like, yo, is this Dixon? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. And the guy is like, if I didn't have 4 dogs at home, I'd take him home right now. And I was like, cool, people are dog people. Who gives a fuck? I want him. I like this picture. I was one of those people. I like him because he's black. And I like him because he's fit. And I like him, I didn't have specs on like his psychology or his energy level or his position in the pack. Anything like that. And as we were talking, it's right next to railroad tracks. A sign goes down, ding, 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 ding. And they go, the thing closes down to stop traffic. Trains going by. And Dixon is standing there, and he just looks up, and he looks, and this is when he was 1.5. This was 1 to 1.5. They don't know his age exactly, but he was like, huh? Okay. And then he just goes back to standing next to this guy. And that's a huge sign for me right now to like, I want him right now. Give me him right now. But I was like, he still looks cool. I'll take him. And I didn't have any direction in the beginning, but that was my first pick of him. He was black and he was cool and he had long ears and he was athletic looking, and that's kind of what I wanted in a dog, but I didn't understand the impact he would have on my life strictly because of the position of the pack he was in,
Yeah.
Very easy to take care of. I was very busy going to school, working, and so on and so forth. He was a great dog to have. So, yeah. That was my first experience with him.
Is that your last question?
It should be for tonight.
It is, because we're going to wrap it up. We're a little over 2 hours. So...
Sorry.
No. That's perfect. This is on par.
Great to have you on.
This is on par with our guests. So, Brittany, I just want to give a special thanks to you. I really appreciate you letting us come over to your guys' house and having you be on the podcast. And I'm super excited for you to open up your business here, hopefully next month.
And be a sponsor of our podcast.
Yeah, and
come December, we're going to mention you on every podcast.
Well, and thank you for inviting me on here. He mentioned to me and I kept forgetting. He's like, oh, you excited? And it's like, let's do it. Because, like I said, I've never listened to it and it was actually really enjoyable. Actually, way more fun than I was expecting. I didn't think it was going to be that fun, to be completely honest.
I think that's every special guest's probably reaction.
Well,
they probably were like, you know what? That was a lot of fun.
That was very enjoyable.
Well, because I've heard a couple of the beginning of the podcast and all I hear is this, hello, and it's like, you guys sound kind of...
People love that, by the way.
In my mind, it sounds
that's all
corny.
I don't care if people love it.
I have to live with him, so to me it's corny. So, but, no, I enjoyed it. It was a lot more funner, and I can't even believe 2 hours went by. It's
right?
Crazy.
Very quick.
So fast.
And then on my way home, she's like, damn, it's already 11:30. I'm in bed.
Now you know. Now you know why.
And I'm like, babe, I'm on my way home. I'm coming home. Anyway, thank you so much for being our special guest,
absolutely.
Brittany.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex.
We're excited for
honey.
you.
Thank you for inviting me.
I love you very much. We're excited for you to open up your business soon and to be our future sponsor that we're going to mention
Absolutely.
For all of you joining us for the first time, if you've made it this far, thank you so much, and I hope you really enjoyed it. For all of you joining us again, please don't hesitate to join us again next week.
Oh, yeah. Or check us out on YouTube and leave some comments, yo.
Oh, yeah. Well, here coming up soon, because I haven't quite gotten our YouTube caught up to the most latest episode, but you can definitely check us out. I'm honestly not positive what the URL is, but I'm definitely going to shout that out when I do have it memorized.
The Catch-Up.
Yeah, but is it youtube.com/the catch-up? I'm not positive.
Go to youtube.com, look up The Catch-Up, The Catch with a K, A-T-C-H.
Yep.
U-P.
Yep. You probably
Space.
find us.
Space U-P.
You can leave some comments. I'll be
I'm
checking them
gonna have
out.
to start listening to this stuff now.
Glad to hear it.
Very good.
Thank you again, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.